Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban. And I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Today we are talking about Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon's SuperS side story, Ami's First Love, and Bishoujo Senshi Sailor Moon Super Sailor 9 Senshi Shuketsu, Buraku Dorimu Hora no Kiseki in Japanese. Pretty Soldier Sailor Moon Supers, the 9 Sailor Warriors get together, Miracle of the Black Dream Hole, the English translation, and the English title, Sailor Moon Supers the Movie, or Sailor Moon Supers Black Dream Hole. Both titles were used.
Take a breath.
Ah!
Super Sailor Soldier, Super, the 9 suit. Yeah. Goodbye, Earth. Good job, guys. Good job. Wow, what a surprise that would have been if it had been organic. But, you know, it's the Japanese, man.
Yeah.
They don't care about surprises.
No.
Yeah, that's a mouthful.
It is a mouthful.
And we've got a lot to do.
We do.
Before we're out of this thing.
Yeah, I know.
The only way out, as Sailor Moon learns, is through.
Yeah.
The way that we're going to get out of this black hole is going right through the middle.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that in a little bit. But let's get to our Spotify comments before we start talking about Super Soldier Sailor Senshi Sobe. We've got Spotify comments on every episode of our show. We leave on Spotify a question. What did you think about this episode? And our listeners answer that and tell us for our last episode, which was 166.25. Just trust me, it works. Sailor Moon Super's wrap-up and Q&A. We got some more questions. We got a question from Black Star Raven on Spotify, who said, that's more of a statement than a question. They said, I was 10 when SuperS came out and watched it while in Japan with my grandparents. It felt off, and I thought maybe I was aging out. But then Stars came out, and I was like, oh, it's just SuperS that was bad. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Black Star Raven. I can't wait to be right there with you, simpatico, when I begin watching Stars, but I'm pretty sure that you're right in that estimation. And then Sidarian said, you said that Japan should know stranger danger, but they might not. That was invented as part of a massive disinformation campaign by the FBI to stop hitchhiking so they could track people easier?
Is that? I had not heard that before.
I don't know if I am totally simpatico with Sidarian on that. You know, it's true. They know this. Numbers don't lie. I'm a number 4. Number 8. We know for a fact that people are most likely to be attacked, assaulted, kidnapped by people they know.
Yes.
Far, far, far and away. More than any stranger.
Yeah.
Every time there's an Amber Alert.
Right.
The vast majority of those, that's somebody they know.
Yeah, for
so
sure.
I'm not saying that strangers are completely to be trusted or that you can put your life in their hands, but I think we did overblow that quite a bit. Although whether it was an FBI campaign, I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
I'm not sure about that. It's possible. I also know that like hitchhiking was something that was very important to, well, I don't want to just say hippies, but hippies. Counterculture, people just moving around, and meeting new people. A lot of people, that's what, they did that for, to travel and to be around other people. And certainly the increase of stranger danger campaigns in the 70s and 80s and up until now far reduced, the amount of hitchhiking.
Yeah.
And hitchhiking it's legal in most states. And even the states that it's not, you're probably not going to get a ticket for it.
Probably not.
But it has certainly gotten into our consciousness, whether through nefarious means or just through osmosis, that it's not a safe thing to do. So I'm not saying go out and hitchhike, and I'm also not saying that there's something nefarious behind it. But it's definitely true that there's a lot less of it now.
Yeah, there definitely is a lot less.
Something to think about. Thanks for your comment, Sidarian. And you too, Black Star Raven, and you too, listener, can leave us a comment, an answer to the question, what did you think about this episode, on your PC Spotify app or on your phone.
So are you ready for this? We get an Ami side story.
I don't want to dampen people's enthusiasm by saying I'm ready to be done.
Oh my gosh.
But that is definitely a component of this. But I will say, without spoiling my reviews, that I found a lot to enjoy and think about in our selections today.
Okay, good.
What about you?
Yes, without screwing up my reviews, I also found some
We're both
enjoyable
begging the
things.
listeners to keep listening.
Yes. So can you tell us, Cal, what happens in Ami's first love?
Let's talk about Ami's first love,
Mm-hmm.
a short that was commissioned, I think, solely on the strength of the love for Ami as a character.
Yeah, I think
And
you're
I
probably
think
right.
that shines through in every part of this. And, you know, I wouldn't take it away from her, but if I could, I would give 3 more specials to the rest of our Senshi friends.
Yes, I agree.
Because I really enjoyed the glow up that Ami got, but I'd like to see that for the other girls as well.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about this one. We open on the Toei Ocean logo,
Yeah.
which means this is serious, you guys. This is cinema,
Yes.
except it's not, because it's in 16:9. That's the typical standard for HGTV.
Okay.
But it's not 1.85 to 1, which would be standard for a feature film.
Okay.
But who's paying attention? We hear the ticking of a clock and we see a view of Ami's bedroom and Ami herself asleep in bed next to a book and an alarm clock. The voice of Luna tells us the following story unfolds a strange situation while the girls were studying for their high school entrance exams. Ami begins to stir. She grabs her alarm clock, which says 6:30, and she sits up and stretches. Never even goes off.
I know.
She got up before it even went off. Can you believe that?
I cannot believe that.
Can you even understand what happened?
Barely, no.
Is it like I'm describing a hippogriff to you?
Yes.
Something completely fantastical and fictional?
Yes.
But this is the kind of person that Ami is.
Yeah.
She is ready. She's up before that alarm even goes off. Ami looks out of her window, and on the ledge outside, there's a group of birds perching there. Uh-oh. This could either go Cinderella or Tippi Hedren real fast.
Oh my God.
She opens the window, smiles, and says, Ohio to the birds, who all take wing and fly away. To Ohio, I guess. As we see the sun rise over Tokyo. Ami lives in a high-rise, as we've determined previously.
Yes.
But it's got to be a really nice one, right?
I think so.
Miss Mizuno has got to be pulling down more than Mr. Tsukino. But the Tsukino family has a 3-bedroom modern in the heart of Japan.
Yeah.
Is this what socialized medicine has wrought? What's she pulling down here?
Maybe.
A fun little... You don't have to pay for college. The kid's got a scholarship the whole way. I wouldn't worry about it. A fun little ditty begins to play, complete with like do-do-do-do-do-do. And we see Ami getting ready for the day. She's reading books in the bath, which is better than the shower, I guess.
Yes, you don't want to do it in the shower.
And her book is entitled Learning English Words in the Bath. So kudos.
Oh my gosh, I didn't notice that. That's great.
That's what Len said. So she's using it correctly. Now we get Ami's VO saying, I'm Ami Mizuno. I'm a Virgo, born September 10th. Blood type A. My hobbies are reading and chess. I get to school 40 minutes early every day so I can read before class. Wow, what a fireball. Then she stands up and gets out of the bath. Now we're getting somewhere. I was looking at the information about this film on a website, and it said it was rated PG-13. So this is more of Ami than we've seen before. But that's okay. Dressed in her school uniform, she sits down at the breakfast table and says, my favorite food is sandwiches. And she pulls a cloth off some sandwiches there. I've talked about this before, but sandwiches is like the most nondescript food that you can have as a favorite.
Yeah, because they're so different.
But it's like saying, I like drinking liquid. Like, any kind of liquid in particular? Oh, something wet.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I'm a sandwich girl. You know? It's like, I like all kinds of music. Run away from that person.
Yeah, right.
She says, it's because I can eat them while reading. And we see she's got flashcards in her other hand.
Yes.
Something wrong with noodles and chopsticks? Impossible.
Can't do it while you're reading.
Why not? It's one hand. You got to grip the bowl with the other hand.
It's too much concentration on the eating. We don't want as much concentration on the eating.
I don't think that's her problem. Anyway, after her breakfast sandwiches, totally normal, she runs. She's the kind of person that's like, she wears that same costume every day because she's in a cartoon. But if she was real, open her closet, it's just white shirts, blue skirts the whole way through.
Yeah, you're right.
You know?
You're absolutely
Like
right.
Einstein, put a pin in that. She runs to the door to leave. I love that her mom is just nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
It is the morning. She is not here. She's not there at night. It's as expected. And Ami says, my favorite color is blue. My favorite sport is swimming. My favorite subject is math. And I'm a secret horn dog. Oh, cut that last part. We see her walk to Japan Junior High and to her locker right next to Aiko Yono's.
Oh.
I have no idea what that is.
I don't either.
And she says, and the one thing I can't handle is, and as she opens her locker, inside we see her school shoes and an envelope addressed to her held closed by a heart sticker.
Uh-huh.
And she says, a love letter? And she flushes red and her heart starts pounding. Oh, she also breaks out into hives?
Yes.
Which that's fun. She says, I'm all itchy. Later at Hikawa Shrine, the squad and the cats are walking up the steps, and Makoto says, come on, you're not comfortable with love letters? Wish I had that problem. Okay, Mako, we get it. You're in demand. Usagi says, yeah, for sure. See, you're being a bad example for Usagi. You're making her feel bad. Ami says, it's not that I don't like them. I just get a horrible reaction to them. And Ray says, that's a denial reaction. What the hell?
I have no idea.
Ray's been watching Dr. Phil. You see, you break out in halves when you see a love letter, okay? Because of your denial, okay? I thought that was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Manako, finally, someone with some sense is going to chime in. Manako says, you know what they say, life is short, love is a battle. And everyone's like, oh, Manako. But where's the lie in that sentiment? It's a sentiment that won Pat Benatar her 4th consecutive Grammy Award for Best Female Rock Performance. We are young. Heartache to heartache we stand. No promises, no demands. Love is a battlefield. But that's wrong, I guess, because Artemis says actually the saying is, life is short, love while you can. Which, I guess...
I mean, it works, I guess.
Love While You Can is a song from the 2013 miracle If Then, where Idina Menzel plays a woman who lives 2 parallel lives in New York City, sliding doors style.
Oh my gosh.
Is the other her named Adele Dazeem? She's wickedly talented. Ami laughs and says, who's that for? Theater kids, you're welcome.
Yeah, exactly.
The wickedly talented one and only Adele Dazeem.
Ami says, well, my mind is occupied by something important to 16-year-olds, something we should pursue with great passion. And the girls all say in unison, studying hard, right? And Ami flicks out her reading glasses like David Caruso and says, exactly. The word love isn't even in my dictionary. And at that moment, a cold wind blows across the group and Chibiusa says, scary. She's coloring. She doesn't do these tests.
I know.
Mako says, is something worrying you? And Ami says, look at this. And she shows them a magazine. These are the results for the national mock exams. Jupiter reads and says, first place Mercury, 100% in all subjects. And Chibi says, Mercury, that's you, right, Ami? And Ami says, that's right. You take exams under the alias of your choice. Yeah, Ami, but not when it's your actual secret identity.
Yeah, really.
You think Peter Parker goes to Starbucks and tells them to write Spider-Man on the cup?
He better not.
Spider-Man, I got a half-calf flat white with 4 sugars for Spider-Man. I don't think so. Ami says, what I'm worried about is this. And she points at the name just above hers, one mer-curious.
Yes.
That's it. Ami is mer-curious. Bring Neptune back in here.
Oh my gosh.
I'd be worried about the guy below her whose name is Virtual Guy.
Virtual Guy?
Yeah, there's another one that's like, I can't remember what it is, but it's in like English letters. But this is in, not kanji. This is in hiragana.
Okay,
but it just spells Virtual Guy. Like it's like blank man. Put something here later.
Yeah,
that's what I should
right.
have said.
Exactly.
Yeah, Virtual Guy, that's a supervillain I've ever heard of one, so look out for him. Mer-curious also got a perfect score. I mean, he's number 1 because Mer-curious comes before Mercury alphabetically, I guess.
Okay,
so
well.
it's not better.
Yeah.
But they both got perfect scores. And Artie points out that Mer-curious is Latin for Mercury. Thanks, Artie. Ami says, I wonder if it's a challenge against me and perhaps a new enemy. And Usagi says, maybe you're overreacting.
Yeah.
And everyone agrees. But Ami's not sure.
No.
We see Ami in class, and it's a big lecture hall, and not many people are in school uniform, so I think this is a college class. Like maybe she's doing some post-secondary work.
She's doing one of her practice exams.
She like takes it at like the college or something like that?
Yeah, they take it at a central place.
I guess we've never taken a close look at Keio University.
Yeah, I know.
Which, of course, is also in Minato Ward, like everything in this show.
Right.
Where Mamoru goes. Ami is walking through the halls, and she sees that they've posted the results for the national mock exam, and Ami thinks, if I keep attending classes and attending seminars, maybe I'll meet mer-curious. And we flash to a more romantic shoujo filter as Ami says, I've never felt so passionate before. It's so thrilling to have a rival. I won't back down. And she's apparently screaming this out loud because everybody in the hallway is like, whoa, chill.
Yes.
We got to the next day at Hikawa Shrine as Luna says, the next day, something in Ami changed. I don't know why we need her to narrate this, but she's going to do it. We see the girl studying, but we see Ami surrounded by parapets of books, scribbling furiously. She yells, he did it again! He got a perfect score! He must not be human. And Ray says, and what does that make you?
Yeah, really.
And Ami says, it makes me wonder what kind of person he is. I wish I could meet him. Mako says, she's fallen for him. Amina says, Ami, it seems like you're in love. But Ami says, no, he's my rival. And Ray says, how do you know it's a boy? Right, Ray?
Yeah, Ray. Mm-hmm. Right on track for Ray.
I don't have to say anything.
No.
They're starting to write themselves. Mina says, Ami, what's your ideal type of man? Oh, you know, over 6 feet, uncut, loves sandwiches. Ami says, well, my type is probably someone like Einstein. Well, he's got the tongue action.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man, she's going to love Oppenheimer. Hey, do you like a guy who is smart and can still f*** his way across the Southwest?
Oh, my God.
How do you feel about constant smoking? Just more Marlboro than man. No one likes what she said, and Usagi says, who's that? She's more of a Barbie girl.
Yeah, right.
We cut to Fruit Parlor Crown as the voice of Luna, still around, says, and so began their little plan. Little kitty paw turning the pages of the storybook. The squad minus Ami is there, and Ray says, I've never seen her like this before, except for Hamburger Boy. And the time that she was hanging out with Mamoru, and her crush on Motoki in the manga, and herself with that scene in the mirror. Doesn't seem like it's her first love, but okay.
No, yeah.
The others conclude, this is her first love. Minako stands up in the booth and says, I, Minako Aino, the goddess of love, will help her in this endeavor, even if it costs the shirt off my back. And she pulls down her shirt to expose her shoulder coquettishly?
Yeah.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Oh, my God.
The girls are all like, what? It already says, stop that. Mina says, anyway, we've got to help her find mer-curious. And Chibi says, but how? It's a fair question. The girls are stumped. We see school getting out that evening, and Usagi is stopped by Naru and Umino. Naru and Umino?
I know.
Naru says, Umino is going to try and predict what will be on the exam. But Usagi looks at him piercingly. He says, is there something on my face? Usagi grabs him by the lapels and says, you're good at stuff like this? Do you know who mer-curious is? And Umino says, yes, he's my friend. And Usagi lets him go. And as he crashes to the ground, she says, lucky. Meanwhile, Ami arrives at her prep school, and narrator Luna says that she looks worn out. And she does. Inside, which is why we don't need Luna. Inside, as he listens to the teacher, Ami thinks, look out, mer-curious. I'll study and study. Maybe take a nap. No, I'm going to study and study. And she falls asleep at her desk.
Yeah.
When she wakes up, everybody's left, but outside the window, we see a dark figure with red eyes watching her before it disappears in a puff of smoke.
Mm-hmm.
As Ami leaves, we see that there is one last student there, and we see him sign his practice test, mer-curious. But never mind that. Oh, really?
No,
yeah,
I did not catch it.
But never mind that, because we pan up the building as a voice says, I can see it now, within this study hall where no one ever speaks. A perfect example of a girl in love. She's filled with greed, only thinking about boys. She's a secret horn dog. Above the street, we see a floating figure in a pink, red, and yellow dress with long brown sleeves and with half pink, half purple hair. A bisexual ghost.
Oh, my God.
She says, I've haunted this study hall for 100 years. See? And now Bonan will give you more to think about. Bonan?
It's
like
going on.
Sexual addicts group?
Oh my God.
No. Narrator Luna says, careful, she feeds off of selfish desires. Even when she's a narrator, Luna's got to be a know-it-all.
I know. You notice that she isn't in this at all? She just narrates it?
Yeah, but also she's like, I know about this monster. You're doing this after the fact, right? This already happened.
Yeah,
You're recounting this. You know it all. Bonan descends upon and seems to perch upon Ami, and Ami's not looking good as she trudges home. As she turns the corner, Umino and the rest of the squad arrive, looking for Mer-curious. Umino says, it may look run down, but this school is full of tradition. Just then a boy walks out, and Umino says, hey, Mer-curious. The boy, whose face we can't see yet, says, hey, Professor Guri Guri. Umino says, he always calls me Guri Guri. Guys? But the girls are speechless.
Yeah.
The next morning, Ami is still in bed sick, and she says, Mer-curious, are you doing this to me? Unseen, Bonan floats over her, saying, your condition proves your selfish desires are taking over. Now to finish the job. And she draws 2 handfuls of love letters and says, the start of all desires. Love letter attack. Nothing like a first love to confuse the heart. And she fires the letters all around Ami, pinning her in bed. Ami gets smacked in the face by a letter, and she breaks out in hives in a love letter reaction.
Yes.
But that's not all. 3 colored balloons start expanding out of her head, and she says, oh no, math, English, all the subjects, I'm forgetting them. And the balloons float away and explode. Oh, sure, the dog ate your homework, and you? Oh, the knowledge balloons exploded? Okay, you're free to go. Chibi, Mamoru, and Usagi arrive at Ami's apartment, and Mamoru is like, I would have thought a doctor was doing better.
Oh my God.
Usagi is struggling over whether or not to tell Ami about Mer-curious, but inside they hear Ami screaming in terror. Usagi rips the door open and runs in to immediately fall through where the floor should be. As she hangs from the edge of the door, they can see that the inside of the apartment has become a swirling void of garish color. Bonan says, who's there? And Chibi says, that's what we want to know. And Bonan says, I am. But Ami says, you're Mer-curious. But Bonan's like, what? No, wrong, what? And Ami says, sure, coward. My headache, falling asleep in cram school, it's your fault. And Bonan is like, I do not know what you're talking about. I'm trying to kill you. Are you in school? Ami says, I will give up. And she transforms into Sailor Mercury in cinematic style.
Yes.
She says, exam class plus seminar class plus square root of stress equals Mer-curious equals enemy equals defeat. Bonan is terrified.
Yes.
As Mercury says, going so far to be number 1, I can't forgive you. For love and intellect, I am the pretty suited sailor soldier Mercury. Douse yourself in water and repent. Usagi, still hanging from the door, says, she's not Mer-curious. But Mercury says, I knew you were my rival, but I didn't think you would try to emotionally confuse me. But now, I'm going to put an end to this battle for first place. Bonan is like, I don't know what you're talking about. Mercury says, I'll show you Mercury's winning equation. Mercury Aqua Mirage. And she shoots an Intano circus of water blasts at Bonan, who becomes encased in a globe of water as she screams, I don't know why I'm dying! And the globe of water explodes, killing Bonan and returning the room to normal. Usagi, Chibi, and Mamoru are like, huh? As Mercury says, I feel a whole lot better, and then collapses on her bed. Later at Crown, the squad is hanging out, and Mina says, I hope my grades are never that good. And Artie says, I don't think we're in any danger of that. Usagi says, okay, now we don't mention Mer-curious when Ami is around. And a voice says, so you've seen him. And up from behind Usagi and Mako comes Ami's head in her aviator glasses. Ami says, what was he like? And Usagi's like, he was like this. And she points at a magazine on the table. Like Komoto from the Genki Kids. So hot right now.
Yeah, right.
And we see a slick-looking pop idol. Ami says, I knew it. He looks just like a young Einstein. I wonder if he's got that Einstein tongue game.
Oh my God.
I'd expect nothing less from my rival. Mina says, that's a little shallow, don't you think? Wow.
Wow.
Glass houses, Mina. But Usagi says, if she finds out that he looks exactly like Umino, and we see a flash of Mer-curious, a boy who looks exactly like Umino, except he has square frame glasses.
Yes.
And Usagi's like, Mako says, why use the name Mer-curious, though? And Usagi says, I'll explain. His real name is Suuri Kurume, which is Maru Kuruyusu. So that explains that.
I guess so.
Whatever.
It's just his name backwards.
We can't get, well, yeah, but it's backwards, but remember, it's the characters.
Oh,
so it
sure.
isn't just like SUIRU, like, the word backwards. It's the syllables backwards.
Yeah. Got it.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's a long walk up the stairs to Hikawa Shrine, where we see the girls going up the stairs, and Ami screams, "It can't be!" She's reading the latest results, and she says, I destroyed Mer-curious, and he's still in the rankings.
You serious? I just told you that a moment ago.
Ami says, don't worry, I'll take care of him. And narrator Luna says, and so the never-ending battle continues for high standard Mercury. And as she runs up the stairs, she says, I'll keep doing my best. I'll never give up. We get the song.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah, that is it.
That's it.
What did you...
If only they all could be that short, eh?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it was...
I have read side stories in manga.
Sure.
Which are about 16 panels, usually, tops.
Uh-huh.
Maybe they go to 32, like 4 pages.
Yeah.
And so it's usually like, set up a thing, reversal, there'll be no trouble at all, and a little goofy ending.
Yeah.
And we're done, right?
Yeah.
So, like, how do you make 15-minute episode, an episode that is, I think I got my math right, 2/3 the length of a regular episode?
Yeah, right.
Without even an eye catch?
Yeah.
How do you do it? Do you not do it?
That's
not the answer, because they did do it.
Because they did do it, yes.
It's fine. It's, I wonder, what I wonder is what Ami stands thought of it. Do they have stands in Japan?
Sure. I'm sure they do.
They're going to.
Yeah.
M&M is producing a documentary about stands.
Is that right?
Yeah, not kidding.
Oh my God, okay.
Is he popular in Japan?
I don't know. I guess I wouldn't be surprised if he was.
Lose yourself. Do it.
Lose yourself?
No, you have to a Japanese person.
Lose yourself.
Don't try to do it.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I said that. I wonder what they think, because I like it because, I love a buffoon. And even if you can take a character who is not a buffoon, Ami, let's say, not my favorite Senshi.
Uh-huh.
Merely because being perfect means this got no character.
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go.
Right.
And even when they give her an episode, it's like, should I just quit studying and get Fs? I'm going to keep getting A's.
Yeah.
Wow, tough conflict. Going to Germany, that's a good one.
Yeah.
But then she didn't go to Germany, and it's like, it probably would have been better if she'd gone to Germany.
But then she'd be off the show.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So even that's not a real conflict.
No.
So like, all right, put her in a situation where, I don't know, she's got a fever of 105. She doesn't know what she's talking about. And she just gets so fixated on this thing. And then she's just kind of, the character that's usually making bubbles and shields and just getting people wet, just like completely destroys this totally random monster that had the bad luck to just wander in the path of the Sailor Senshi. Who lived for 100 years.
Yeah, right.
Before she met Sailor Mercury. And just destroys her. And then even at the end, she doesn't know. And that's just funny. Like, that's funny.
That is funny.
What'd you think?
I liked it a lot. I think it's kind of funny that Ami breaks out in hives when she sees a love letter. It's, not what I would say is like a normal reaction.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of funny. I really like these side stories in the manga, and I wish, like you said at the beginning, I wish that we got the animated side stories for the other Senshi as well.
Yeah.
This is like the exam school battle side stories is what they were kind of referred to.
Wait a minute. So even in the manga, they're like, We got to do something to make this more fun. So I'm going to write 4 side stories during the exam studying year where, oh, God.
But
so this was built on a foundation of sand from the beginning.
I guess.
Look, I blame the people that made this season of TV a lot less because it seems like there wasn't a lot to work with.
I feel like
Creepy horse baked in.
Yeah, okay.
Just goofing it. Well, it's true that they knew, I guess, about Pegasus earlier, but it seems like just kind of goofing off until we can just get to the mirror and the lady comes out and we get all that done. A lot of sandbagging. Seems like that's baked in. And then, like, what do the girls do all day? Do they go to a potion shop? Do they go skiing? No, they just go study. It's like, all right, well.
I know. The story with Minako and Ray is together too.
All right, I don't want to hear. Oh, of course it is.
So,
hey, that the Ray Nako stands can like that.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, the fact that that's it. That's all you had to say about it.
Well, I mean, I liked it a lot. I think it shows me being cute and but like you said, also kind of a buffoon. I like that the ghost was somebody who'd been there for like 100 years. Yeah. And just had like the dumb luck to go follow Mercury home and
do they off a lot of random Yoma? Usually they're all connected
sometimes
to something specific, but the Dark Kingdom at
right.
all. But are they ever the only time they ever seem to just, well, first of all, every time there's a movie, something from space is going to destroy Earth.
Yeah, right.
We got to up the stakes, all the way into space.
Exactly.
But there's never, or no, like I suppose if they go to a hostel or something like that, and there's some ghosts.
Yeah, right.
Or there's a psychic girl or a Frankenstein or something like that. Sometimes they meet a dinosaur.
Yes.
But nobody likes those episodes.
Those are both beach episodes.
Yes.
Believe it or not. I really like the soundtrack to this. It had like, they composed new songs and new background music.
Yeah,
just for this short.
I can't remember if it was this or the movie, but there was like a different version of Never Give Up. I know it's not called Never Give Up, but
the Ikimasho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had like a different kind of flair to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was this.
Well, the composers worked hard.
Yeah, right.
Scripters.
I feel like the animators worked hard too.
It looks great.
It looks amazing.
It really does look good.
Yeah.
I always love it when we get to the cinematic part because usually, they look really good. And I mean, it's only 15 minutes long, but it looked better than it had any right to look.
I agree.
I'll give it that.
Yeah, for sure. I do have a very, very short Kuro Muro.
Chibi Kuro Muro?
Yeah, you got it.
Wow.
I thought we'd talk about Cram School. So we covered Cram School on Ami's first episode 8, but that was before Kuro Muro went really in depth.
And probably on our live action PGSM episode where Usagi goes to a cram school.
Yes.
I think we talked about it there too.
Yeah.
On our Patreon.
So, Juku attendance increased from the 1970s through the mid-1980s.
Juku is a cram school.
Juku is cram school, thank you. Participation rates rose at every grade level throughout the compulsory education years. This increase was a source of great concern to the Ministry of Education, which issued ordinances to the regular schools that it hoped would reduce the need for after-school lessons, but these ordinances were not effective.
Okay. Wow. This is a MEXT divided against itself.
Yes.
Because from what I understand, what I've always been told, it's just a natural thing to cram school. Sure, the school teaches you, but you want to be the best, right?
Yeah, right.
So you need more teaching. We got you at school on Saturday, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean? But like now the education system is saying, if they're at a cram school, we're not doing our jobs. So we need to teach more so the cram school attendance goes down.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, how'd they fix it?
They
did.
I don't think they did.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Government.
I know. And it's complicated with Juku too because the commercial nature of most Juku, some critics argue that they focus on profit rather than education.
So, teach these guys, but not all that much. Keep them coming back for more.
Yeah, I know.
Tell them E equals MC. Don't give him the squared. Make him come back for that.
That's right.
Yeah.
From Wikipedia, quote, shares in 5 Juku chains are traded publicly, and 25 others were, as of 1992, ready to issue stock as well. Not all students can afford to attend Juku, but school and university test scores rise in direct proportion to spending on Juku.
Huh.
The average fee is $160 a month for elementary school and $175 a month for junior high school. But the best Juku are several times more that amount. Japan spent $20.9 billion on tutoring and cram schools in 1991 alone, including $9 billion on Juku for students in the 9th grade or below. Quote, almost double the figure spent, end quote.
Huh. That's not a small amount of money.
It is not a
that
small
people
amount of
are
money.
spending.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that was just my very, very brief Kyo Miru about Juku.
Nice.
Ichidakimasu with Usagi. What was Usagi eating in this episode? So Ami eats sandwiches at the beginning, saying that they're her favorite food because she can eat while she's reading.
We've talked about the panoply of breakfast items that are enjoyed by the Japanese people. Sandwiches?
I think that's odd.
Yeah.
I do. Unless it's like an egg sandwich or something.
Yeah, this is the same outfit for every day situation. And
yes.
She's like, oh, did you get my breakfast sandwiches? And her mom's just like, no, I gotta make those.
Such a firecracker.
If her mom was there. This is a hypothetical situation.
Yeah, right. At Fruits Parlor Crown, it looks like the Senshi are having coffee or tea in like fancy cups. They're like coffee mugs, but they had like a stem on the bottom of them.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Yeah. And of course, Mina is serving Riz.
What?
Did I say that right? Never mind. Let's forget I said anything.
Oh my God. Villain gauge where we rated baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. So the bad guy in this is Bonan, and Bonan refers to Bono, which means envious.
I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, from you too.
Yeah, right. Which means envious passion, as well as Buddhist term of the same name that means, quote, earthly desires which must be avoided, end quote.
Okay, that's perfect.
This can be interpreted as Ami's desires to beat mer-curious.
That's so perfect. They should have named it something else or changed the word a little bit. I am the ghost.
They
Greed. Like, oh boy, what's this ghost centered around?
Yeah, I know. Well, there was no N at the end of the word.
Oh, okay, well, they fixed it.
They totally changed it then. Yeah.
Okay.
So her design, her hair is in long pigtails. One side is purple and the other side is pink and yellow. She has blue eyeshadow and 2 dots in between her eyes. She has squiggly looking earrings, 1 pink and 1 purple. She has long brown kimono sleeves that connect to a pink bikini top, which has a middle strip which runs across her navel. She has a skirt that looks like it's made up of a bunch of colorful and pointed scarves. They are pink, orange, and yellow. And she's also wearing sandals that have heels. And she also has 2 bangles that she wears on each arm.
Yeah. Do the dots mean anything?
They must, but I don't know what they mean.
Yeah, I don't know. This is another situation where I feel like maybe being Japanese would help a lot here, because the sleeves are definitely something more archaic.
Yeah.
If that's a fashion term, I don't think it is. Let's say classic. And maybe the skirt or something. I feel like it's trying to express that this ghost has been around for a long time. Like before she haunted the cram school, she was haunting, somewhere else, a pachinko parlor or something like that.
Sure.
She's collected these parts that are, traditional, older forms of clothing.
Right.
And then also, some nice heeled sandals and a strappy top. You got to have that.
You got to have that.
You got to stay up in the fashion.
That's right.
But, yeah. So I thought, that's interesting. It's kind of a motley thing, but it was, visually interesting.
Visually interesting, yes.
She made it work.
For sure. So now we're up to our rating. She's an old spirit who lived in the cram school. She shoots a bunch of love letters at Ami, and they encircle her so she cannot move, and one lands on her head.
She need one of those guns that shoots money, but it shoots like envelopes.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like that.
Yeah, for sure.
A money shooting gun. I wish I could afford a money shooting gun.
would
they're
you
only
use
like $20. That's not what I mean. I got the gun. There's nothing to put in it.
Oh my God.
Put love letters in it.
There you go. She is so scared when Ami is calling her mer-curious and getting ready to punish her, which is amusing. But I'm going to give her, we don't get a whole lot of time with her. I'm going to give her 3 out of 5 dark roses.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm probably going to have to go with a 3 as well. I don't like to do this, but I don't care anymore. We're almost done. I can see Mount Doom is there on the horizon, belching fire.
Yeah.
And we are so close. You can't carry it for me, but you can carry me. And so I'm going to give her a 3 because I don't want to think about it too much. I think ultimately if I dug into it, maybe I would find something that was more or less better than another kind of equivalent lemur in the rest of SuperS. But she's got a kind of interesting costume that's, unique. I see the design there. She's a little bit funny, but not much. Her powers don't really do much. She throws letters and we never find out what else she does. And she dies without ever knowing why. I think all that's worth a 3.
Nice.
I don't mean to, shirk my duties. I don't feel like I am, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not going to go any deeper than a 3. I just don't know what else to tell you.
That's fine.
You're lucky you're getting a 3. Now royal in hell.
Oh my gosh.
Or wherever you ghosts end up.
I do have some trivia for this episode as well.
Okay.
So there was an error in this adaptation as the first season had given Ami a boyfriend in the form of Uruawa, who was the hamburger guy.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, how's that trivia? We're talking about that this whole time.
I don't know.
Yeah,
in case somebody else forgot.
Obviously. So whose fault is that?
Well, he didn't exist in the manga, so...
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
It's nobody's fault. It's the clash of two realities.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Well, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Not adapt this? See, once again, that even more that tells me they're like, we're almost out of this. Like the crew that left at the end of this season. I'm right there with them. And they're like, we got to do one more thing. Ami's so hot right now. She's at the top of every chart. We got to make a little money with this DVD.
That's right.
So let's do this. It's about her first love, and she's like, kissed a boy. She's done all this other stuff. I don't think she's kissed a boy. And she's like, had another boyfriend, crushes, and secret horn dog. And they're like, it doesn't matter. We're going to adapt this thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else we can do. That or we write like a sobering character drama about, her mom's absence from her life.
Oh my God.
And they're like, what is this? Live action PGSM? I don't think so. We'll keep it light.
That's right. This special does not have a Cloverway dub. This special wouldn't get dubbed into English until the Viz dub.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was a while.
Yeah.
All right.
So now we're up to our rating. I love when Ami puts her glasses on in preparation to study. It looks like she's getting ready to battle.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome. I love that Ami gets fired up to take more exams and she does a fighting pose in the middle of a lot of people and they stare at her.
Yeah.
I love how Ami said her ideal person would be someone like Einstein, and I love everyone's reaction to that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like, yeah, he's smart, but
so hot. He's going to
so
cheat
hot.
on you.
Yeah.
He's going to cheat on you.
Oh my God.
What's going on in those physics rooms?
I don't know.
Back in the day.
I like that Bonan attacks Ami with love letters that encircle her, and one on her face. I like the attack Mercury Aqua Mirage. This is the only time we see that.
Yeah, they're also like, let's make up an attack for Mercury.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And it's pretty cool.
What's a word that means illusion? Mirage?
Yeah, exactly. So
can I change my rating? Wait, I haven't given it yet.
Yeah. I'm gonna give this 4 out of 5 roses.
Nice.
I really enjoyed this.
I guess so. I thought it was fine. And I've already given the speech. I'm going to give it a 3.
That's okay.
It's fine. This is the, it's not even an awesome blossom. This is the, like kind of toast based, and maybe there's like ricotta or something. This is the appetizer that they bring you. They go, oh, have you tried our new blah blahs? And you're like, that's great. It's great. I'm waiting for my Monte Cristo sandwich. You know what I mean? Trying to get to this movie. So this is the appetizer that it's like, have a couple bites. It's good with the blue cheese, but what do you want from me? I'd like to get to the movie now, please. So just bring out my sandwich because I love sandwiches. So I think it's fine. Like you said, I'd like to see, the other Senshi get their due as well, but Ami's totally deserving. It's cute. It's a 3.
Very nice. My English title is Hives Saves Lives.
Okay. All right. Well, we both worked really hard on our titles.
Yeah.
Maybe you want that Monte Cristo sandwich too. Because my title is Private Hives.
Oh my gosh. So Cal, can you break down the Sailor Moon Supers, the movie, for us?
Yes. Finally. For Frodo.
Oh my god.
No, I would love to. Let's begin, shall we? We start, once again, with the Toei Ocean logo. This is also serious. Mm-hmm. We see colorful globes twinkle by the camera as we look out into deep space. As a voice says, "When you smile, the world gets sweeter than the sweetest candies." Who is this?
I have no idea.
Can never place these dumb voices. A shooting star cuts through the darkness as we dive down through the clouds to the streets of a rustic city. We pan across the cobblestoned alleys and into the bedroom of a young blonde girl, fast asleep in bed. The windows of the girl's room creak open as a jaunty flute tune can then be heard. The girl sits up suddenly, her eyes blank, and we cut to bedrooms across the city as other young children are also arising. The children walk out into the darkened streets as a tasseled figure plays on a strange twisted pipe instrument. Tiny feet beat a march in the wake of the piper as they sing. Hey, look, listen carefully. It's such a sweet melody. The 3 o'clock fairy is calling out to me. Knock on the door of sleep. Jump up, wake up, and hurry up. To the country of candy, we will get on board the ship. Oh, I am just full of dreams. Mint pie and apple pie, good cake and good spirits. Cheerful with cookies, licking up the prune pudding, eating a bit of chocolate. The 3 o'clock fairy is watching with a smile. And we see the children, hundreds of them, climb onto a candy-colored ship with a giant snail shell-shaped balloon in place of sails. The piper follows them up the ramp, and we can see that he or it has green hair with an orange blaze, flowy white clothes, and pointed ears. As the fairy continues to play, the ramp of the ship withdraws, and the ship lifts up into the night with its childish cargo. As the sound of the children's singing fades, we see back on the street a small figure, white-haired and in similar dress to the fairy, look up worriedly as a cold wind blows through the town. We get the OP and a title screen. It's a Sailor Supers movie. The 9 sailor soldiers gather. The circle of the dream black hole. As Moonlight Densetsu plays, we see black and white images of our squad as little girls. Yeah. We see Usagi running to school, where she is viciously loved by a small dog. We see Ami and the back of her mom making cookies.
Uh-huh.
I think this is the first appearance of Ms. Mizuno.
Yeah, it is.
We see a young Rei in traditional dress having her picture taken by a man? Her father?
A question mark?
Who is covered in a cloth because it's an old-timey camera? They only did... Ray's not 100 years old. They only did that so they didn't have to show his face. But first on-screen appearance of Ray's father. This is huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
And also he collects cameras, I guess. But she is interfered with by 2 young boys. Her brothers?
Oh my god, I don't think so, but...
Oh, they just 2 random toughs from the neighborhood?
I think so.
Okay. I thought she had brothers. I was learning a bunch of things here. She runs off frame, presumably beats them with the baseball bat one was holding, and returns to frame, scuffed but triumphant. We see a young Makoto hunting dragonflies. I don't know who's taking this picture. Got her.
Oh my god.
We see no parents. We see a young Minako singing along with the idol on TV, then switching the channel and developing her dig and flip while watching a volleyball game. Maybe the Oriental Witches?
Maybe.
Yeah. Then she's having a gunfight with Clint Eastwood because a fistful of dollars is on TV. This explains everything. And why I love her so much.
I know, right?
And we see snaps of all the major characters and some moments from throughout the series. We're at Makoto's place. You know how I can tell?
How?
Smell of fresh baked cookies. And they're almost done. But as Usagi reaches for the oven, she gets a smack from a wooden spoon held by Chibiusa. Usagi says, I was going to check if they were done. And Chibi says, I'd rather trust this cookbook. Mako says, let me check. And she looks in the oven window. She says, a little longer. We have to wait until the edges are golden brown. We see the other girls in the squad working on various confections. Minako is furiously stirring a bowl of batter, but Mako says, that's gotten too firm. You shouldn't put all the sugar in at once. If you rush, it doesn't turn out well. Amina says, I guess. And she pops a chocolate chip in her mouth. Ray says, we don't have that many chocolate chips left. But Minako says, I can't stop. It's like they say, you can't put a door on someone's mouth. The cats are there, and Artemis says, I don't think that's what they meant. I got no idea what she means.
I have no idea.
But a lack of chocolate chips isn't going to stop Ami, who's using the bottom of a glass to press out sugar cookies, complete with a nice little pattern from the bottom of the glass.
Yeah.
The girls aren't surprised because they watch the short. Ami is good at everything. But Mina suspects she's been secretly training. Ami says, my mother taught me. She was very busy and not at home often. Oh boy, here she goes again. But if I was ever having a bad day, she'd always find the time to make cookies with me. She'd say, these cookies will cheer you up 100-fold. Now back in your learning cage.
Oh my God.
The girls are touched by this, but the cuckoo clock strikes 3. And Mako says, oh, it's the 3 o'clock fairy already. You know, that thing that normal people say? I've heard of a 5 o'clock world. I've heard of after midnight. I've even heard of 25 or 6 to 4. But the 3 o'clock fairy, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Luna says, 3 o'clock fairy? Oh, really, Luna? Something you don't already know? Not something you suddenly remember that you've heard about?
This is new.
Should have waited till she explained it.
Yeah.
Then she goes, oh, yeah, I know what that is. Mako says, oh, yeah, the 3 o'clock fairy. My mom used to bake me cakes when I was young, and when I asked her why she always baked at 3 o'clock, she told me it was because of the 3 o'clock fairy. She said a fairy tells all mothers to make sweets for their children at 3 o'clock and to go to bed by 4. But since I didn't know what she was talking about, I thought she meant the little bird that comes out of the clock. I was a dumb kid. Chibi loves this. Mako says, the cakes my mom baked were special. Keeping this pastry-themed group therapy session going, Ami says, I always thought when my mom baked cookies, it wasn't so bad to be depressed. Everyone thinks about this. But Chibi says, must be nice, because even in the future, my mom just makes bird cookies. And Usagi's like, why do you always say stuff that you don't need to say? Diana says, I am touched. I'll say you are. Confectionaries are so full of wonderful memories. But Ray says, future happiness is more important than memories. And Minako says, this Valentine's Day, I'm going to hand-bake stuff and grasp that happiness. She's going to grasp happiness and do hand stuff? I'm sorry, I wasn't listening to what was going on.
What?
Diana says, if you can hand-bake things, you can grasp happiness? And Mina says, that's why we're learning to bake now. Usagi says, Mako is a genius at baking and hand stuff.
Oh my God.
Diana says, then Miss Makoto has already grasped happiness? Everybody freaks out, and I don't know what they're scandalized about, but I've tried to recreate the feeling here with my hat penis bit. Makoto says, happiness is the time when you're in pursuit of happiness. But Minako says, that had absolutely no sincerity behind it. Good job. What the hell, Minako?
I don't know.
Oh, guys, are we having a moment here? Well, one sec. Here we go. The cookies are done, and Usagi screams triumphantly, see how beautiful my cookies are! And we see her rabbit head-shaped cookies, a little brown, but not bad.
Yeah.
And then we see Chibi's cookies, the cookies of a 7-year-old.
Yes.
Honestly, not terrible, but that's not going to stop Usagi from browbeating a child. Chibi says, my cookies are about taste. One bite gives 100-fold courage and power. And Usagi says, phew, the ones I made will taste better. And popping one in her mouth, she learns that she was wrong.
Yeah.
The girls taste Chibi's cookies and agree they're pretty good. Or maybe they're not browbeating a 7-year-old. We may never know.
We may never know.
But they say they taste good. Chibi says, see? And Usagi says, it's okay. Mama will eat them and say that they're good.
Poor Mamo.
Everybody's dismayed. Because we did that bit already.
We did.
We cut to the streets of Japan as Chibi walks down the sidewalk with Diana saying, well, I won that match. And Diana says, a match? And Chibi says, yep, it's a given when Mamo eats one. But she stops short when she sees a young man with rainbow fairy wings looking in the window of a shop. It's Pride Month already? It looks like the young boy that we saw in the opening, but the air seems to shimmer around him, and in a flash, he's wingless and wearing a fuchsia vest and pants. Still could be Pride Month. We don't know. Chibi walks up to the kid and takes her time looking him up and down, contemplating him, before Diana takes the initiative and says, meow. The kid says, what a cute kitty. And Chibi says, her name's Diana, kind of shortly. Yeah. He says, nice to meet you, Diana. And Diana jumps on his shoulder and licks his face. And Chibi giggles and asks, well, what are you doing here? What are you, a cop, Chibi? Calm down. He says, I'm watching the children that come out of this sweet shop. Uh-oh. Get a cop. They seem so happy.
Oh, my God.
Chibi says, sorry, this entire season has trained me to look askance at things like this.
Yeah, right.
Chibi says, of course, it's a candy shop. Of course they're happy. And the kid says, yep, this is a good town. Not a lot of security cameras, light police presence.
Oh, my God.
All the mothers look so kind. Sorry, SuperS has ruined me. And Chibi says, not all the mothers. My mom is a klutz, a crybaby, and a ditz.
Wow.
No lies detected. And she eats all my snacks. I mean, I eat some of her snacks too. The kid laughs and says, you're kind of funny. This really is a heartwarming town. Say, do you guys have Amber Alerts or do you just do typical emergency broadcast alerts?
Oh, my God.
He says, the candies look happy too. And Chibi says, you know how candies feel? And the boy says, they're about to dance around because kids love them so much. And Chibi's like, okay, I gotta see this. And runs up to the shop window. As she looks, the boy looks at her. And she says, all I see is that they look tasty. The boy steps back and takes out a crystal transverse flute. And as he begins to play, the cookies in the window begin to float, forming a rough lady shape that dances around.
Trumpy, you can do stupid things.
Chibi looks agape at the cookies, then back at this strange boy playing the flute, then back at the cookies, probably thinking, I gotta call my agent pronto. The song over, the boy lowers the flute, and the cookies fall back to their tin. Chibi sticks out her hand and says, I'm Chibiusa. The boy looks quizzically at her hand, but finally grasps it and says, I'm Pururu. At Mamoru's bitchin' bachelor pad, he's listening to the smooth sounds of 89.5 FM, your only station for modern adult contemporary rock-like music. And he's studying modern adult contemporary rock-like beats to study to.
There you go.
The doorbell rings and he says, yes? And a voice says, special delivery, the world's greatest love. And I know this is supposed to be a sweet moment. Like, guess who?
Yeah.
But you have to say something like, Jessica Chastain, I told you not to come to my home. My girlfriend will be here soon. You gotta. You have to do that. You don't have a choice.
You're obligated to do that.
If you're a funny guy, you have to do that. Usagi comes in and we see her searching around saying, that pesky brat is hiding, isn't she? He says, she's not a pesky brat and she hasn't been here today. Ignore these red hairs. But Usagi says, she is a pesky brat. She always gets in the way. I don't know, Usagi. You're in your adult boyfriend's condo in his bedroom with modern adult contemporary rock-like music on the stereo, and I haven't seen your parents in 30 episodes. I think you're living your best life right now. You got a bag full of cookies.
Yeah.
You're both superheroes. Let Chibi take care of Chibi. She's old enough.
She is.
Usagi looks at Mamo's shirt and says, when did you buy this? It's not a pickup line. This will look better on your floor. She says, when did you buy this? And he's like, when I went shopping with Chibiusa. Uh-oh. Hope that shirt goes with cookies because you're going to be wearing them soon. Usagi grabs Mamoru's hand and says, I've always wanted to ask you, who means more to you, me or Chibiusa? Mamoru says, what kind of question is that? She says, you can't answer, can you? Chibi means more to you. Here I am, bringing you hand-baked cookies. I'm the most unfortunate woman in the world. And he's like, cookies? I'll make some coffee. A news report begins. 89.5 breaks for the news at the top of the hour. Then it's right back to your favorite modern adult contemporary rock-like hits. The newsman says, all over the world, a strange case of kidnapping is occurring where every child in a town disappears overnight. Strange hoof prints have been found at the scene.
Oh my God.
No, it couldn't be him. He's locked away. We know this. This crime has happened in 43 cities across 27 nations, and nothing else is known about the case.
It's like terrifying.
Now back to the smooth, modern, adult, contemporary rock-like sounds of 89.5. 89.5. It's music. Trust us. Yeah, it's weird. Interpol is laying down on their job here.
Yeah, it is weird.
It's only 27 nations are involved in this.
It's not an international crisis by any means.
A bunch of childless people at the UN like, what are you people doing? Back on the street with Chibi and Pururu, Chibi offers Pururu the cookies that she baked, and she gives him the 100-fold spiel. She says, later, and leaves with Diana, saying, let's meet again. Night falls over Tokyo, and we once again hear the jaunty flute tune. We zoom in on the Tsukino house, and the windows to Chibi's loft open, as we see Chibi nestled in her Luna Pea sheets. Don't tease us, show.
I know.
Chibi's eyes open suddenly, and we see that they are as blank as the ones of the children that we saw before in country number 17.
Yeah, right.
In her own bed, we see Usagi laughing in her sleep. That Marmaduke. And we hear Diana's bell as the kitten comes running in saying, Miss Usagi, Miss Usagi. In her sleep, Usagi says, Mamo-chan, do you love me? Diana yells, wake up! And Usagi crashes out of bed. Outside, we see Chibi walking the street in her pajamas, as Usagi follows behind her in street clothes. Behind her appear the squad, as well as Luna and Artemis. Usagi says, Chibiusa is acting weird, but Artie says, it's not just Chibiusa, look! And we see that legions of young children, pajama-clad, are all walking the streets blankly, heading in the same direction. Manako says, are little games like this popular nowadays? What are you talking about?
What do you think is happening here?
Blind Child's Bluff? What's the game?
Exactly.
Ami says, the news said that kids all over the world are disappearing. She's an 89.5 listener.
Yes, she is.
Ray says, do you guys hear a flute? Ray doesn't own a radio. Ami gets out her RoboCop computer and determines that a strange energy is contained within the melody. We hear the children singing their song, Chibi among them, as they continue to their destination. The balloon ship that we saw before, now berthed in a park. Luna says, we can't let the kids get on board. And Usagi runs up and grabs Chibi from behind, as the rest of the girls do the same to the other children. Chibi struggles weakly in her arms, so Usagi says, I guess I have no choice. And she smacks Chibi on the behind. Chibi says, hey, what are you doing, idiot? Wait, where am I? The other girls do their best to try and block the children's way. They can't. Not their kids. They can't spank them. We know it works, but unfortunately, we can't use it.
Right.
But as the kids squeeze around them, one girl says, we're going to a dream world full of candies. The land of Dairy Queen. Stop! Don't do it! They're neither hot eats nor cool treats. Atop the ship's clown-like figurehead, Ray sees the green-haired elvish boy playing his flute, but he stops suddenly, and so does the children singing as they collapse to the ground. Uh-oh.
It's not good.
Peter Piper's picking a pack of whoop-ass. The green-haired boy says, don't get in our way. And Ray says, who are you? Green hair says, the children are here of their own will. Don't get in our way. Mako says, okay, Burger King, you're not having it your way. Green hair laughs and says, well, we've got some nuisances tonight. Papiliotis! And he throws his... It's a Harry Potter spell.
It does.
And he throws pieces of candy at the girls that hover in the air before them. As he plays on his flute, the candies unwrap to reveal blue blobs that grow arms, legs, and little boy heads, like Rule 34 Violet Beauregards.
Yeah, exactly.
As the blue babies hover menacingly over the squad, Green Hair yells, get them, bonbon babies. Bonbon babies, they'll choke the life from you. The babies float towards the girls, and Ray elbows one away, but it bounces off a light pole and smashes back into her, sending her to the ground. It's like the opposite of the usual anime thing. Boom, big punch. Guy flies back. What's he do? Hits a wall.
Yeah, right.
Cracks the concrete.
Right.
We've all seen The Matrix. But instead, these guys just go, boing, come right back. That's their attack.
Yeah.
You fell into their trap. Mina spin kicks one, but it bounces back to the same effect. Mako grabs one and tries to wrestle it to a standstill as Usagi and Chibi are chased around the playground by a fourth. Luna yells, everyone transform! And they do! In glorious HD. Well, the inner senshi do. And the song says, Sailor Gorgeous? Did I hear that right?
Did it say that?
It's like Sailor Gorgeous.
Oh my gosh, I didn't catch that.
Gorgeous. As Usagi and Chibi continue to flee, we get a Venus love and beauty shock which shoots through their pursuer, ending the threat. Usagi and Chibi transform, and we get a moon tiara action that initially misses its target, but it boomerangs back and punches through the blue candy boy. That's how it happens. That's what the tiara does.
That's right.
A Mercury happens. She doesn't yell anything.
I don't know.
It freezes and crumbles another attack. You remember this part?
Yeah.
You remember this in the movie?
Yeah.
It freezes and crumbles another attacker, and a similar Mars incinerates its target.
I think they were just
These must be their S attacks, but they're not saying the words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Jupiter throws a sparkling beep boop to bring the combat to a close.
Of course.
So the weirdly reticent Inner Senshi. Green Hair is furious and yells, "Who are you guys?" And Sailor Moon says, "I've been waiting for that question. We are the defenders of justice known throughout the world. We can't forgive a villain who abducts children like a Pied Piper." Flying horses aside, "For love and justice, we are the pretty sailor-suited soldiers, Sailor Moon and Chibi Moon. In the name of the moon, we'll punish you." Unimpressed, Green Hair begins to play his flute again, and the world around the Senshi is transformed into a beautiful, flowery mountain glen. Across the blossom-strewn sward, the girls see a gingerbread house covered in candy. Back in the real world, the cats are looking at the Senshi like, "What's up now?" As the Senshi gawp blank-eyed at the illusion. They failed their saving throws.
Yes.
The Senshi all run off laughing, and as they pass through the door of the candy house, they all become smaller childlike versions of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Not again.
I know.
Chibi Senshi! Everyone's a little weirded out, except for Chibi Moon, who grabs a donut off the wall. Wild donut. And prepares to take a big bite. But a red rose knocks the flute from Green Hair's hands, and the girls awake from the vision. Tuxedo Mask has arrived. We hear a recorder version of the Tuxedo Mask theme and look up into the branches of a tree where stands the formal wear-clothed hero. TM says, "You shouldn't eat that, Sailor Moon." Should have used the rose to knock it out of her hands then.
Yeah, right.
But he went for the flute. He knew what he was doing. And we see that Usagi is holding on to one of the swinging rings from the playset. But I think she would have won that one.
You think so?
Usagi, put sprinkles on it. She wouldn't know the difference. Usagi, embarrassed, laughs and throws the ring away, but it comes swinging back and hits her in the face. In a series of leaps, Tuxedo Mask alights on the rigging of the ship, still above his foe, and stares down. Green Hair says, "So you're with them, eh?" In response, Tuxedo Mask wordlessly draws his cane and leaps at the green-haired kid, but the elvish boy dodges it and blasts Tuxedo Mask with a ball of energy. Tuxedo Mask recovers and flips back, landing on the deck of the ship. Again, the green-haired boy lifts his flute to his lips and plays a quick arpeggio, and the children around Tuxedo Mask start to stalk towards him, grabbing his legs and restraining him, as a bonbon baby knocks into him, sending him over the side of the ship and plummeting to the ground. The Senshi rush to his side as another group of bonbon babies looms over them, but a voice cries, "Leave them alone!" And the Senshi turn to see Pururu standing in the playground, his flute in his hands and Chibi's cookies tucked into his belt. "My God, it's Pururu! It's Pururu dear!" Green Hair says, "Is that you, Pururu? What is this?" And Pururu says, "Brother, when did you do such violent things?" Another voice says, "Pupulon, what's the meaning of this?" The green-haired boy, Pupulon, seems surprised, and as he kneels down on top of the figurehead, its clown eyes throw forth beams of light, beams that project the image of a woman in the sky, a woman with dark hair, and clothed in let's say it's a wedding dress made out of bat wings, which you won the goth contest. We're sending everyone else home.
It's right.
Pupulon says, "Lady Badiane." I thought this was going to be Pazuzu. That would have been perfect, right? Pupulon, Pururu, and Pazuzu.
Yeah, there you go.
The woman says, "What's up? I won't allow delays in the plan." Pupulon says, "Yes, but Pururu is here." And Pururu says, "Why do you want to collect so many children? Badiani, I can't trust you after all." Poupoulan says, Lady Badiane is doing this for the happiness of all the children. And Pururu says, I can't believe that. Isn't this show called Sailor Moon?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, here we go. Chibi runs to her new friend saying, Pururu! In the sky, the image of Badiane says, I see. That little girl is fooling you. Continue your work. Bring her along with the children. And the image of Badiane shoots a beam of black energy into the group of bonbons, sending them bouncing all over the playground. As the image of the goth bride disappears, Jupiter says, looks like fighting's back on the menu, and she gives us a Jupiter Oak evolution, which along with Mercury's Aqua Rhapsody eliminates 2 of the bonbon babies. But a second passes before they reform themselves and they're ready for battle again.
Yeah.
One bonbon comes sailing at Chibi, and Pururu lifts his flute to intervene, but he's stopped short by fear. Just before the bouncing blue brute bowls over Chibi, Tuxedo Mask tackles it out of the way. And just as Mamoru begins to regain his footing, the bonbon returns to slam him against the side of the clown ship, and he falls to the ground lifelessly. Before Chibi can make her way to him, a bonbon baby grabs her from behind, and she and the rest of the children are floated onto the ship. Poupoulan laughs and begins to play again as the ship rises up and the children resume their singing. Chibi struggles to reach the side of the ship as Sailor Moon calls her from the ground, fruitlessly, as the ship disappears into the clouds. Pururu starts to run, but Sailor Mars and Venus block his way and ask him who he is. In the clouds, the ship continues to fly with its blissfully happy child cargo, but one kid is not having a good time. Chibi glares ahead as in front of the ship, a row of colorful towers appears out of thin air, and we see other clown ships join the first, sailing between the towers, all captained by garishly dressed flute players. The ships approach and enter a giant column, and they descend through the hollow interior to a gingerbread hangar. Is gingerbread good building material?
Well, it's really stiff, so that's good.
Until it gets wet.
Yeah, you're right.
Just like spaghetti.
Oh my God.
I gotta ask my civil engineer friend about the compressive strength of gingerbread. The voice of Baba Yane says, is this be like Baba Yaga? We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
The voice of Baba Yane says, good job. So I always have to have a boss that gives you positive reinforcement.
Yeah, right.
As the gangways of the ships lower and the children spell out laughing, up the steps to a fate unknown. There's no earthly way of knowing.
What is it from?
A Willy Wonka feeling.
Oh, yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Chibi follows them. Chibi follows them cautiously, and as she enters the next chamber, she sees rows and rows of crystal boxes like coffins, each one containing a sleeping child. Before she can take it in, a blast of dark energy hits her, and she is drawn, along with the coffins, through a twisting network of tunnels until she is spit out into a room bathed in pink light. The voice of Badiane says, was it you who fooled Pururu? You will rue the day you fooled Pururu. Who fooled Pururu? Was it you? Chibi looks up to see a huge platform and atop it a huge woman, Lady Badiane, dark energy crackling over her. Is she like, I guess we'll talk about it, but like, she's a hologram or something like that? Or is it like she's really big, but she's going to turn out to be really small? Like, remember Snoke? That was their idea for Snoke.
Yeah. In
Star Wars. And so his hologram's huge. And then we meet the guy who's like, oh, yeah, I'm Snoke. What's up? Jesus, Snoke. Which took more time to create, Snape or Snoke? It's Snake with one letter changed. Meanwhile, J.J. Abrams, it's smoke with one letter changed.
Yeah, right.
Snake and smoke, they're both bad things.
Yeah.
We are geniuses. Billions of dollars, please.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Snoke, Badiane says, I feel a strange energy coming from you. It sounds like the Emperor, like Snoke.
It does.
Yes, Lord Vader. You want this, don't you? These bag of cookies. Your cookies have made you strong. Chibi's like, what show did I end up in? And Lady B says, do you want to enter the coffin of dreams like the other children? Jesus Christ, what's the right answer to that?
Yeah, I don't think so, lady.
What are my choices?
Yeah.
Chibi stays silent, which is smart. Chibi stays silent, but Lady B says, soon this planet will be completely engulfed in my dream black hole. Okay, Amy Lee, too much surge for you. Oh, and she's expositing again. We see hundreds of child-filled dream coffins orbiting a globe of dark energy as Lady B says, "In the center of this castle, my black dream hole absorbs the sugar energy of all the dreams of children, and the energy is still growing." Since she's talking so much, I should mention, it looks like she has fangs.
Yeah, it does.
And I am 99% sure that the voice actress is wearing fake teeth.
Really?
Or fangs. She sounds like, "I want to suck your blood."
I mean, she's coded to be a vampire. Let's be real.
Right, but you could just be a vampire. Like, sometimes Gary Oldman's just like, "Oh, Mr. Harker." He's not like, "Mr. Harker."
Yeah, that's true.
She sounds like Wesley Snipes in Blade.
Miss Open Season or suckage.
Really biting into that sibilance, right?
Yeah.
Just something I heard. What does the Japanese version of a Transylvanian accent sound like?
That's a really good question.
I think it's this.
Okay.
If when a Japanese guy is like, "I'm going to this party as Dracula," and he's like, but he's talking in Japanese, like, what does that sound like?
Oh my God.
Japanese accent, Transylvanian accent on top of that. It sounds like this. We see the Earth from space and the black ball of energy grow to completely swallow the planet. This is all in her, explaining here.
Yeah, right.
Lady B says, "Soon the black energy will completely swallow this planet, and every human on Earth will live in the coffin of dreams. That's a beautiful sight." Chibi says, "Are you an idiot? Like that'll ever happen?" And Lady B, who I have just realized is not wearing a shirt. She's wearing like short sleeves and a bow like the Senshi, but no shirt under any of it.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
So this is more like a Queen of the Damned vampire type situation. When did that movie come out?
It's a good
R.I.P.
question.
Aaliyah. Lady B says, "Why do you think that?" And Chibi says, "'Cause Sailor Moon is on Earth." Back on Earth, dark clouds cover Tokyo as lightning plays through the heavens. In Mamoru's apartment, Artemis looks out through the windows and says, "Those aren't normal storm clouds." Thanks, Artie. Luna arrives and says, "Mamoru's going to be okay." In Mamoru's room, the squad stands around Mamoru in bed as Usagi holds his hand. This seems familiar.
Yeah, it does.
Mamoru says, "Usako, where is Chibiusa?" And Usagi feels the pain of her missing sister-daughter teammate. But she tells him she's all right. That pesky brat just has to be all right. From the corner of the room, Pururu says, "It really is dangerous." Thanks.
Thank you for chiming in there.
Thanks, Pururu. We cut to outside as Pururu's clown ship with the Senshi aboard rise into the roiling clouds. Pururu says, "If we get sucked into the black dream hole, we'll never be able to rescue Chibiusa." Sailor Mars says, "Boraku durimu holu." And Sailor Venus says, "Any chance this is a trap? Do we trust this little guy here?" But Sailor Jupiter says, "We've got no choice but to trust him." She means Pururu.
Yeah, right.
Trusting Pururu is all we can do. Pururu. Sailor Moon sees the bag of Chibi's cookies on Pururu's belt and says, "You got that from Chibiusa?" And he blushes, but before he can answer, they begin to enter the cloud. As the ship passes up through the black mists, Pururu remembers the words of his former master to her minions. "I will lead all the children into this dream world, a world of their own where they will never be hurt. Now, fairies, lend me your powers." We also see him remember his first meeting with Chibi and her kindness. As the ship emerges from the clouds, Sailor Mars suddenly senses a tremendous amount of evil, but the Senshi see nothing. Mercury activates her visor, but she can detect nothing. But Pururu raises his flute to his lips and plays a tune, and the candy-colored spires of the Marzipan Castle are revealed to them. What's the torsional strength of marzipan? I'm guessing it's not great.
I think it's worse than gingerbread, honestly.
Rain, also a problem.
Yeah, definitely.
As they're it's like walk hard. Edith, I can't make you a candy house. The sun will melt the candy.
It won't work.
It will if it never rains.
As the clown ship nears the city, a blast erupts from the city walls and blows up their balloon. The clown ship immediately begins to plummet to the ground as the Senshi are thrown across the deck. Zooming in with her visor, Mercury makes out the shape of a cannon, manned by the minions of Lady B. As the fairies load another shot, one says, "Are we blowing Pururu away too?" And in answer, Poupalon only cries, "Fire!" As the second wave hurtles towards the falling ship, Mercury casts Shine Aqua Illusion and freezes the cannonball in midair, sending it plummeting to Earth. It's neat.
Yeah.
Although it's probably going to fall on Harajuku and crush a Goth Lolita.
You don't want that.
The clown ship barely reaches R.I.P. Mistress of Darkness.
Oh my God.
The clown ship barely reaches the edge of the city, where it crashes and slides to a stop, just avoiding going over another precipice. It's very Star Wars again. All these why is there a bottomless pit here, sir? Should we have a railing around this? Perhaps OSHA's going to eat our ass for this.
Yeah, right.
As the Senshi try to recover, the evil fairies arrive, and Pupulon says, "Why did you bring these outsiders here, Pururu?" But Pururu says defiantly, "I'm going to stop Badiane." And Sailor Moon says, "Return Chibiusa and the children." Pupulon says, "Chibiusa? Ah, yes. The mistress has taken quite a fancy to her." And one of his flunkies says, "She has the best energy to nurture the Black Dream Hole." Pupulon says, "You will all die here." And to his flunky, "Careful, they have weird powers." Papalotes! The fairies throw handfuls of candy at the Senshi like drunk Shriners and begin noodling on their flutes, causing the candy to become multicolored bonbon babies. Jupiter and Venus lash out with Supreme Thunder and Love Me Change. All the hits! But the bonbons are undiminished. Flunky number 2 says, "Lady B's dark energy is strengthening. You have no chance of winning." The air is full of jiggling candy boys as the Senshi stand on the edge of a deep chasm. It looks bad. But we get a world shaking that decimates the bouncy foes. Sailor Uranus, Sailor Neptune, and Sailor Pluto are here. 'Cause why not? Uranus says, "The star of the night sky, with Uranus as my guardian deity. I am the soldier of flight, Sailor Uranus." Neptune says, "The star of the deep sea, with Neptune as my guardian deity. I am the soldier of embrace, Sailor Neptune." And Pluto says, "The star of space-time, with Pluto as my guardian deity. I am the soldier of revolution, Sailor Pluto." Uranus intones, "We are the soldiers of the outer solar system, invited by a new crisis, and we have arrived." The Senshi are jazzed, but there's no time to get excited. They're still going to get killed by Willy Wonka rejects. That's when we get a dead scream that destroys the attacking minions as the outer Senshi run to the inner Senshi's side. Mercury says, "How did you get here?" Nobody answers the question.
I know.
Because there's no answer. We have a car. You've seen it. Uranus says, "There's a dark energy growing inside the castle." And Pluto says, "Sailor Moon, there's a threat to small lady's life, right?" And Sailor Moon nods. Across the battlefield, Pupulon says, "You had other allies? How did you find this invisible castle? Hello?" But Neptune says, "No tricks work on my mirror. Submarine reflection." And she fires a blast at the fairies that does something to their flutes. We'll put a pin in that.
Yeah.
Uranus charges at the enemy and yells, "Space Sword Blaster!" They're just making things up now, and I love it. And with a swipe of her glowing blade, she destroys the flute of one flunky and turns him into a bird? They're making it up. I love it. He's a bird now. Guy's a bird now.
Yes.
As the flunky disappears, so do his third of the Bonbon army. Not to be outdone, Sailor Mars gives us Mars Flame Sniper, and she blasts the flute of the other flunky, who also turns into a bird.
Yeah.
And his bonbons disappear. Uranus leaps up to confront Pupulon, saying, "What are you planning by abducting children?" Pupulon says, "We're going to change this planet so children can stay children forever." Oh man, we already had that.
Yeah, we did.
Have you seen the internet? Every movie's based on a comic book. Nobody has any pubic hair. We yell at each other about Taylor Swift all day. Trust me, it's covered. Come on, give the children back. Pupulon puts his... Is it Pupulon? I don't mean to say his name wrong. I'm going to keep saying Pupulon because I think it's funnier. Puts his flute to his lips, but Uranus slashes through it, turning him into, or back into, a bird and destroying his bonbons. I'm so confused about the bird thing, but that's okay. That's true for Uranus.
Yes.
Pururu seems to watch this with regret as Uranus says, "A world where children never grow up? Toys R Us?" No. On the moon? No. Neptune says, "There are so many things that only adults can experience." Woo-hoo-hoo! We get it. You guys fuck. Uranus is, and that's what they mean, because Uranus is like, while Pururu plays his flute. I'd like to imagine, sort of like to cover up the, okay, woo, flute time. And the ramp to the ship opens. He says, the ship is fine. Let's go. Okay. I guess it's fine.
He says it's fine.
Hover, but low, on the ship across the surface of Marzipan City, eventually stopping at a point where a portal opens in the surface below them, and they descend. They're going to the center of the Death Star now.
Yeah, right.
A lot of Star Wars in this.
It is.
Pluto says, Sailor Moon, who is this boy? And Moon says, Chibiusa's boyfriend, right? But Pururu looks distressed. He was hoping for, more of a casual cookie-based thing. The ship continues to sail through the passages within the city until it emerges in the room where we last saw Chibi. But Chibi and Lady B are gone. Only the crackling pedestal remains. And whoops! The ship is hit with a crackle of black energy, flipping it and sending the Senshi rolling out. The image of Lady Badiane appears atop the pedestal saying, "This is sacred ground. You cannot enter." Venus says, "What did you do with the kids?" And Lady B says, "They're right underneath you." And the floor becomes transparent, showing the Senshi rows and rows of child-filled coffins. The Senshi are horrified as Pururu runs forward and says, "Stop this, you witch from another world!" But he is lifted off his feet and thrown into the air, being luckily caught by Sailor Jupiter. Lady B says, "Foolish little Pururu, I was looking to make your wish a reality and make a beautiful, sweet world." Pururu spits back, "No one will be happy in the world that you make. I want to protect this place where kids can grow up with their families and friends." Lady B says, "It was this girl who taught you such silly things, right?" And she flexes her hand, and Chibiusa appears in it, trapped in a sphere of dark energy. She locks eyes with Sailor Moon, and there's a moment of real understanding and connection between them. Then she folds her arms and says, "You're late!" Above them all, the ceiling of the tower splits open, revealing the swirling, turbulent clouds above the city. Coalescing into being above Lady B is the dark sphere of black energy, powered by the children's, check the notes, sugar energy. Mercury asks Pururu, "Is that the black dream hole?" But Lady B says, "Yes, it's regaining strength by eating the dreams of the children." She squeezes Chibi Moon tightly in her fist and raises her up to the heavens, and Chibi is struck by a bolt of dark lightning. She screams in pain as her brooch deactivates, and she reverts to plain old naked Chibi. Sailor Moon and Pururu leap towards Lady B's pedestal, but they are thrown back by a dark energy shield. Mars gives us a fire soul that glances harmlessly off the form of Lady B. Nice try, Mars, as Mercury uses her Robocop computer to analyze their foe, determining that she's surrounded by a barrier. Thanks, Mercury. Lady B laughs in triumph and says, "Just as I thought, this girl has the perfect energy for my black dream hole." The hole continues to grow in size until it dwarfs the city itself. Lightning and torrential winds pound Tokyo as dark clouds choke the sky. But we hear the lilt of a flute as the clown ship begins to rise, manned by Pururu and Sailor Moon. Lady B says, "What are you trying to do?" Pururu puts his flute away and tells Sailor Moon, "The energy from our hearts that think of Chibiusa will move this ship." And Sailor Moon says, "It's crazy. I got it. Let's go." You do? What the hell are you talking about?
I don't know.
But it works. They begin to fly towards Lady B, the nose of their masthead pushing against the energy field. Lady B says, "As if your ship could smash this barrier." On the ground, Uranus calls, "Everyone, help Sailor Moon!" And all the Senshi begin their attacks at once, but they are scattered by black lightning from the pedestal. Not today. The clown figurehead begins to crumble as the ship plows on, and as Lady B raises her staff, the ship itself crumbles into flotsam, dropping to the floor, where it is jetsam. But within the wreckage, no Sailor Moon and Pururu? No, they remain aloft, riding atop the remains of the clown masthead, which continues to float in the air. Sailor Moon screams, "I want Chibiusa back!" This is insane. This is like, "Give me the amulet, you bitch!"
Yeah, right.
This is just like balls out like Monster Squad. But Lady B says, "My black dream hole wants this girl's sugar energy." I don't ever want to say that again. I won't let her go. And raising her scepter, she does her best attack. Underboob smash! Knocking the masthead aside, and she flies up towards the black hole. Sailor Moon and Pururu pursue them, eventually overtaking them and flying in between Lady B and the hole. Lady B and the hole, I think they do the morning show on 89.5. Sailor Moon says, "Return Chibi-Usa!" But Lady B fires a blast of black lightning at the masthead, causing the eyes to pop out of it and pushing them back towards the black hole. Pururu yells, "If you get closer, you'll be sucked in too." But Lady B says, "Idiot! The black dream hole is part of me. I will use this girl's energy and swallow the whole planet." In her clenched fist, Chibi comes to and sees Pururu and Sailor Moon desperately fighting for her. But forget that. Lady B notices it and shocks her again, knocking her out. Womp womp. You will not be a part of rescuing yourself, Chibi.
No, not
today.
this time.
This is the movie. This ain't your show. This is the movie.
Yeah.
As the black hole grows, it begins to pull in parts of the city itself. And part of the tower shoots up and collides with the masthead, knocking them out of Lady B's way, and she and Chibi continue their rise towards the hole. Back on the ground, all the Senshi are being shocked by black lightning, and all their transformations begin to revert. Now we're getting somewhere. Let's earn this PG-13.
Oh my God.
Sailor Moon and Pururu can only watch, I guess, as Lady B and Chibi enter the black hole itself. Pururu slams his fist down in frustration, and his bag of cookies goes flying up, but Sailor Moon grabs it, opens it up, and takes out a cookie, contemplating not only its crooked, imperfect shape, but also the crooked, imperfect being that made it with such enthusiasm and love. Turning to Pururu, she says, "This is a special cookie that strengthens your courage and power 100-fold. And she eats the cookie in one bite. She stands up, and Pururu, already sensing her intent, says, "No, Sailor Moon, you'll never make it. You'll be killed." Bitch, please, I already point break this week. This is nothing. I'm going f***ing Interstellar on this one. All right. And she leaps up and is immediately sucked into the black hole. The hole continues to expand, and Pururu can only say, "Damn, Sailor Moon." Inside the hole, the laughter of Lady B echoes everywhere as she says, "What a fool to jump in willingly." We see Sailor Moon surrounded by a maelstrom of energy until she is pulled into a still place where strange strings span the walls as energy plays across them. Looking ahead, she can see Chibi-Usa floating limply in the center of space, and she flies to her side and takes her in her arms. Chibi is out, and the voice of Lady B says, "Do not wake the sleeping children." Turning around, Usagi finds herself in Mamoru's bedroom, where Mamoru is still recuperating in bed. In her arms is Chibi, pajama-clad. 89.5 plays on the stereo. Mamoru wakes up and says, "Usako, how did you get here?" Sailor Moon says, Is this your room? Are you better?" Mamoru gets up and says, "This is nothing." And Usagi says, "I'm glad, but Chibi's not waking up." She hands him Chibi, and he puts Chibi in his bed and puts his arms around her as he tells her, "Let her sleep. Chibi's having a happy dream right now. And from now on, we can spend all of our time here by ourselves without interruptions." We are going to earn that PG-13 rating.
Oh my God.
Sailor Moon says, "But I have to save all the children." But Mamoru says, "Who cares about the others? I'm happy if you're here, Usako." But Sailor Moon is like, "What? No, don't kiss me. Tell me the truth. Who's more important, me or Chibi-Usa?" Mamoru says, "Silly, of course you're more important. The only person important to me in the world is you." And a cloud passes over Usagi's face. She backs away, picks up Chibi-Usa and says, "You're gorgeous, even in my dreams, Mama-chan." And as the modern, adult, contemporary, rock-like sounds of 89.5 begin to break down, Sailor Moon shouts, "Crisis Power!" Her brooch opens and light spills forth, and within the dream coffin that she and Chibi-Usa are trapped in, the light shines too, shattering their prison and freeing this cheerleader and this butt-ass naked girl. Immediately they are hit with black lightning, as Lady B says, "This can't be. How did you escape the coffin of dreams? Sailor Moon, what is it you want?" Sailor Moon tries to fly out as she is still hit by lightning, and Lady B says, "Take your hands off that girl and return to your happy dream coffin. Otherwise, you'll burn in flame and die with that girl." Sailor Moon continues to fly, But it becomes clear she's not flying out. She's flying in.
That's right.
Deeper into the black dream hole towards the glowing center. Totally normal stuff. Lady B continues to wheedle her, saying, if every human within their dream and thinking only of themselves, nobody would be hurt. I'm doing this for humanity. As she flies, Usagi remembers Ami's words. I always thought then that it wasn't so bad to be depressed. And Rei's words that future happiness is more important than memories. Or Mako saying that happiness is the pursuit of happiness. Or Mina saying, that didn't make any sense. Good job. 3 out of 4 is not bad.
Yeah, right.
Sailor Moon's brooch glows once again, and the light begins to spill out of the black hole, to the surprise and delight of Pururu and the Senshi. Pururu's rainbow wings once again spring from his back. Inside the black hole, Lady B stands in Sailor Moon's way, saying, give me that child and her beautiful sugar energy. Now! No? Then I'll burn you to death. Your choice! And she throws herself into the singularity of the black dream hole, and a gout of flame explodes from it, blasting Sailor Moon again and again. The light of the silver crystal begins to fade, and she is scorched over and over again. But Sailor Moon reaches out with her mind. She can do this?
Apparently.
Saying, everyone, lend me your powers. The Sailor Senshi seem to hear her, and one by one, their foreheads glow as their symbols appear, and their powers rush to support Sailor Moon. Sailor Moon herself begins to glow, and she turns back to Lady B, who once again blasts fire at her, but to no effect. She's got full Undertaker no-sell on this. Both Chibi and Sailor Moon's brooches begin to glow again, and Sailor Moon releases Chibi as she becomes Sailor Chibi Moon once more, awakening to see her sister Mother Boss before her. There's a nice moment.
Yeah, it is.
Then it's kick-ass time.
That's right.
As they join hands, they summon their sailor weapons and fly towards the singularity, yelling, Moon Gorgeous Meditation! They plunge into the sphere. And as we draw outside the black hole, we see them burst out of the black dream hole. Pururu sees this, and with tears in his eyes says, Sailor Moon bursted out of the black dream hole. Inside the hole, the singularity roils as Lady Badiane screams in rage, and the globe of dark energy shrinks and disappears. Sensing the death of its master, Marzipan City immediately begins to crumble, and its child-filled coffins are freed. Yada yada, clown ships montage, all the kids are saved and returned to Earth. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, right.
Floating in midair, on Cloud 9, Sailor Moon and Chibiusa remember that flight is not in their power sets, and they immediately begin to plummet towards the ground. Oh, we did this already!
Oh my god.
But the winged Pururu arrives to catch them and bring them to the descending clown ships. The threat eliminated, Chibi and Pururu stand on the beach, watching the ruins of Marzipan City fade from the sky. Pururu offers his flute to Chibi, saying, I want you to have this. And Chibi says, you're leaving? And Pururu says, I'm a fairy that protects the sweet, beautiful sugar energy that grows in the dreams of children. I don't have to stay here.
Oh my god.
Says, I'll always be at your side. I don't know. Her side's getting kind of crowded.
It is.
Chibi takes the flute and goes on her tippy toes to plant a kiss on his cheek. Chibi's getting a lot of action.
I know.
Don't let Mina know about this. Pururu floats up into the sky, taken aback, but he smiles and says, thanks for the cookies.
I love the kind of cookies.
And give Diana my regards. And as Chibi waves goodbye, he soars up into the rising sun, out of sight. Sailor Moon joins her on the beach as they and the Sailor Senshi watch the start of a new day. It's gone. It's done. I can't remember the taste of bread or the feel of grass.
Oh no.
I'll tell you one thing. Some kids died.
You think so?
There's no way they got all those kids back.
I mean,
They yada 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 the hell out of that.
they did.
There's
they
a
said
lot of-
27 countries. There's kids
gonna
from 27 countries.
There's going to be a lot. Yeah, there's going to be some German kids in Japan. There's going to
Yes.
be some Argentinian kids in Sweden.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, like it's just going to be some kids all over the place. Oh,
Yeah.
it does. I mean, look, good movie, but whew, I'll tell you, we weren't done any favors by the series being bad.
No.
We should be talking about the movie. We already did our wrap-up show.
Yeah,
But
that's true. But
the series being bad did not help us be funnier or more entertaining.
no.
This is not an MST3K situation where the movie's terrible, so they can make funny jokes about it, and they've talked about how they can't do, you should do Casablanca. You can't do Casablanca. You're watching Casablanca.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean? There's no real jokes to make.
Yeah.
And so I just feel like that's, what kind of we had to struggle with.
Yeah.
When it's just the same thing over and over again, and it's always disappointing, and you're just like, more pedophile jokes. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what to do. And the series kept this going all the way through the movie. And it's written by Yoji Enokido, who's a good writer. We've talked about him before. He's written episodes of this show, Neon Genesis Evangelion. We've talked about him on Beyond Good and Eva on our Patreon, and episodes of Utena. So, I mean, this is a guy. Yeah. This is the Robert Towne of 90s anime. But they keep the same thing where it's just like this clumsy exposition. They just sit down and just explain a bunch of things.
Yeah.
And these could be world-changing things. And then we're off to the next thing. It reminds me of Doctor Who under Chris Chibnall.
Oh, boy.
Where he's trying to really change the formula. He's trying to renew the property. I admire him for that.
Uh-huh.
And he's also like, he doesn't care if you don't like him. Like, he's just going to go, all right, we're doing crazy stuff. Everything you know is wrong. And that's a thing you can do.
Yeah.
But he just has them wander around for a while, and then a character goes, all right, get comfy. I got 12 minutes to explain to you the new reality. And then we just go off and do something else, and we never talk about that ever again.
Yeah, right.
It's just like wiki writing. It's just something that's going to go in the Doctor Who wiki now, and we'll remember that. And then maybe somebody will do something with it later, and it isn't. And I just feel like that's, even with this movie, we kind of get that. Of course, it's going to be a brand new thing. But it's not like the R movie, which I think we're in agreement. It's the best movie.
I like S too. It's hard for me to pick.
I know you like S.
But
it's so weird.
They both are better than this movie.
But we set up that this kid from space knows Mamoru, and they're making a connection.
Yeah.
And he's going to take over Earth, but his connection with Mamoru helps them stop him. And also, speaking of Chris Chibnall moves, apparently Usagi met Mamoru in the hospital when they were children, but they don't remember it.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? But that's important to it too, and the rose and everything, and it's like all great. This is just, I want to suck your planet. Oh, who is this?
I know.
Who is this?
I know. Who this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, so yeah, she's another, like, we've already seen this a little bit, right? Because we've seen all of this. Yeah.
And it's a feature and not a bug, because they've done this with previous movies. Maybe not the S movie, because they're very specifically doing the Ice Princess or whatever, but where they take kind of like a sampler platter of what has happened in the previous season.
Yes.
And build the movie around it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you've got dreams.
Yep.
Specifically, this is specific children, dreaming about candy or whatever. But sleep is involved.
Yes.
You've got a black-haired dark mistress who needs to collect all the power to do something.
Yes.
You've got what else have you got? You got Star Wars.
You've got a white-haired, white-clad,
right? Yeah.
Young boy, who's older
in yoga pants.
Yeah, who's older than
who's here
Chibiusa.
Right.
And is the romantic interest for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
I know.
But they must do it on purpose, because they're like, we don't want to like throw anybody's neck out here. We're just going to give them kind of what they had already.
Yeah, right. This is more of the same.
Yeah.
So I hope you like that formula, because here it comes again.
This is going to end up in the sky.
Yeah.
Typical thing.
Yeah.
They're going to fall down, but then they're going to be saved, and
by somebody who has wings.
Yeah, they do it on purpose.
I know. I was going to say too.
It's like a medley of the season that we just saw.
It is.
But unlike the season we just saw, all the really weird stuff is kind of stripped out, and I appreciate that.
I was gonna say too, I know Naka Takeuchi did the character design for this.
Cool.
But I don't know how much more involved she was other than that.
Yeah.
So I've seen her original drawings for this, and even down to the Bon babies. She
Bon baby.
yeah, she created the look and everything for the characters.
All right, so I want to do the thing that I always do, which is, hey, I know what all this is, and just pick the movie apart in that way.
Okay.
We've talked about all the elements that have been sort of recycled from the series, but also, and look, obviously super influential, has influenced a lot of things, but a lot of Star Wars in this.
Yeah.
Obviously, Snoke was not a glimmer in J.J. Abrams' eye when this came out, but.
Yeah.
Having this, also it's weird because Phantom Menace was like 97, right?
Something like that.
And this is like a round ship appears in the sky. A donut ship appears.
Yeah.
And then they have to fly inside the donut ship. And
Yes.
it blows up, Now this is Sailor Mooning.
Yeah, right.
It just kind of gave me like Phantom Menace vibes a little bit.
Yeah, I could see that.
But anyway, so you got all that. You have you got Star Wars elements. You've got there's like a lot of Matrix here too. But
You think so?
Yeah, using kids as batteries in like coffins, like pods.
Oh yeah. You're right.
But that's of course after this. But we know that the Wachowskis love anime.
That's true.
So I see what you're doing, Wachowskis. And also this is weird. I don't know if anybody's going to get this, but there is a British American co-production film called Life Force.
Oh yes, 100% yes.
The movie is about some astronauts find a ship inside of a comet, and it's a spaceship. It's an alien ship.
Yeah.
Inside the ship are glass coffins, one of which contains a beautiful dark-haired woman.
Yep.
Who turns out to be a space vampire.
Yep.
And then they try to lay waste to Earth.
Yep. I'm looking at you, Nako Takuchi.
Well, but she did the designs.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm looking at Ikuhara
Yeah.
and Inokido, who
Yeah.
are probably big sci-fi fans.
Yeah,
and
you're
like,
right.
The movie's rated R. No, the kids haven't seen that.
And they were
We
right.
can see all that stuff. And then also just fairy tales.
Yes, 100%.
And having literally fairies in it.
Yep.
We talked about, the idea of clapping your hands, to save Tinkerbell.
Yep.
But they literally fly with good thoughts
Yeah.
in this.
Right.
Because the ship but apparently the ship runs on like good dreams and thoughts. And he's like, even this part of the ship can be moved by your good thoughts about Chibi. So get on, let's do this. I thought that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
Having a bad guy who is a giant projection and is like the great and powerful Oz.
Yes,
right. It kind of made me think about that too. Or Zardoz.
Do you think she really was
Happiness is evil.
Do you think she really was a projection, or is she really that big?
I guess she was.
I'm not 100% sure.
But she was clearly some kind of energy being or something.
Yeah,
I guess
that's true.
I guess we'll just never know. Speaking of things that we'll never know, I got some questions.
Yeah, go for it.
And it could be, Palpatine somehow returned is the answer. But
Yeah, possibly.
How is Pluto alive?
Excellent question.
Oh, we don't know.
Never explained.
Okay, so I guess since she's alive, that answers my next question, which is, how did the Outers get here?
Also never explained.
But if they've got time travel, I guess they can just show up and that's fine. What is the pink sugar energy? It reminds me of pink sugar heart attack.
Oh, yeah. It reminds me of that, too.
And they're just keeping it on Candy Brand.
I think so.
Cadbury. But they're like, oh, we want the sugar energy from these children. And it's like, all right, well, we've got this. And she's perfect for it because she's got a lot of sugar energy.
Yeah, she does.
And it's like, all right, that was a thing that we've talked about. Nobody's going to make that connection at all. Have you guys seen this show?
Apparently not.
Okay.
Yeah. That's weird.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's a little bit weird.
Well, she's big like Queen Beryl was big.
That's true, but Queen Beryl got big.
That's true.
Like a kaiju that Ultraman's going to fight.
Yes.
At the end of the show.
Yeah.
And then of course I'm making all these comparisons to movies that came after, but like flying into a black hole to save your loved one is Interstellar. That just,
you're right.
You know, Usagi just has to go, love is the most powerful force in the universe. Along with these cookies.
Oh my God.
I love the cookies and the idea of if we're in a dream world and this is like dream logic, then it's like this, you know, this cookie, it's like it, you know, when the kids are like battery acid and he sprays his inhaler on him, you know, but what they believe and what they manifest becomes real. And so it's like, so she's like, this cookie gives you 100 times power.
Yes.
You know, she eats the cookie. Now, did that help her? We don't know.
She believes in it.
But she believes it.
Yeah.
So it's real.
Yes. I like that a lot too. And I thought that was great how that came back around, because Chibi said that about her cookies when she first made them. And I like that Usagi, like, you know, thinking of her and wanting to save her.
Yeah.
Returned to that.
Yeah. What did Pururu think was going to happen here?
I don't know.
He got, like, we don't know the connection between the fairies and the Dark Queen.
No, not exactly.
It seems like they're agreeing to work for her. Maybe she went out and, you know, to monster.com or something like that. And see, he seemed to have a different idea about what was going to happen. But then they start taking kids away.
I think they were under the impression that she was going to make a world better for kids. And
everything's Nerf.
Yeah, right. And his brother still believes that. But Pururu...
Yeah, but he's willing to, you know, walk over a couple bodies to get there.
Yeah, but Pururu is like, no, what you're doing is wrong.
It reminds me, yes, here we go, of the Silver Surfer and Galactus.
Okay.
Galactus is a giant man who needs to eat planets to survive, to sate his hunger. And so he sends the Silver Surfer to find planets. But the Silver Surfer has a noble soul, ultimately. And so he, you know, comes to Earth and he's like, okay, here's your planet. And Galactus is like, great. Zing, 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 putting his fork and his knife together.
Yeah. And,
but then Reed Richards is like, what are you doing? You can't do this. And Silver Surfer's like, you're right. I'm going to stop Galactus. And so he helps him fight Galactus.
Okay.
And so Pururu in this case is, you know, one of the people who is, you know, a herald of Badiane sent out to find these planets. But once he gets here, he's like, I don't like what we're doing here.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to help the heroes of this world stop my master.
Yeah, no, that's it exactly.
Fantastic Four. 48, 49, and 50 issues.
I figured that's what you're doing.
And it feels like, and I respect this, and we know the circumstances behind this, which is a class is kind of graduating from the show at this point.
Yeah.
But they definitely made a movie where they're like, put it in. This doesn't make any sense. Put it in. We're just putting everything in.
Yeah.
Put Ami's mom in there. Put Ray's dad in there. Bring the Inners back. I want Umino, Naru. I want everybody in this thing. I don't care.
Yeah, right.
You know, and they've got that thing at the beginning that reminds me of the end of, this is a dumb reference, but Lethal Weapon 4.
What's that?
Lethal Weapon 4 was, that was the last real Lethal Weapon. There was a TV show and, you know, so on and so forth, other stuff. But that was like the end of the director and the star's involvement. And so the credits are just pictures of the crew, and it's just like a celebration of all this time that we spent together, you know, making these okay movies.
Okay.
And so it felt like that. It was like, oh, here's some pictures with, you know, Naru's in there and all the Senshi, and they're eating hamburgers and they're having a good time, and there's Gramps. And yeah, it just felt like this is a celebration. There will be more after this.
Yes.
But we're leaving.
I love the opening credits so much.
Yeah.
It's it's one of my favorite things about this movie, probably. And I liked Ray and Minako's probably the most, because they just really, I think, depicted their characters very well.
I think I agree. Although if Ray was Ray beating people up when she was a little kid?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I suppose it's fine. Yeah, you know, she just goes full untouchables on these neighborhood kids.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, I love that they played all the hits. I love that they even introduced some stuff that will probably not be followed up on, but you're like, wait, what? I just came here to see a movie. Ami's got a mom?
Yeah, right.
What's going on?
Yeah.
And seeing the inners again, just absolutely no logic or reason for it happening. Pluto's just like, small lady's in trouble, right? Yeah, she's been in trouble for the last 39 episodes.
Yeah.
You guys were nowhere to be found.
Exactly.
You were fighting ventriloquist dummies or whatever in a hotel. But yeah, that's fine.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan?
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon in the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno is returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning Alcopop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kuro Kuro Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, we are going to be talking about wagashi. So
Wagashi?
Wagashi.
Okay.
Wagashi is a traditional Japanese sweet that is frequently served with green tea, especially the type made of mochi, anko, and fruit. Wagashi is generally made from plant-based ingredients with an emphasis on the season and typically making use of cooking techniques that predate Western influence in Japan.
Huh.
From Wikipedia, quote, in Japan, the word for sweets or confectionery, kashi, originally referred to fruits and nuts. Fruits and nuts may be eaten as snacks between meals and served as sweets during a tea ceremony.
Uh-huh.
The word wa means Japanese, and kashi becomes gashi in compound words. So wagashi therefore means Japanese confectionery.
Okay.
The word wagashi was created at the end of the 1800s to differentiate Japanese confectionery from sweets introduced from the West that were called yogashi.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is different stuff.
This is different. This is different
yogashi.
kind of sweets.
Yeah, sorry.
However, wagashi was not the customary word for Japanese sweets until after World War II. Although tailored to Japanese tastes, wagashi trace their origins to foreign sources, most notably from China. Karakudamono is a Japanese word utilized to jointly describe assorted pastry sweets of Chinese origin, also called togashi. I know.
I'm glad they can keep it straight.
Yeah. That were introduced to Japan from the Tang Dynasty, China. Flower-shaped tea treats made from various rice doughs known as chaguzi were created in China during the Tang Dynasty and came to Japan during the Kamakura period from the Song Dynasty, where they evolved into wagashi made from mochi.
So these are cookies?
No. I don't think a cookie would... Well, maybe some of them could be cookies, or cookies could be wagashi. But I'm specifically talking about the treats that are served during Japanese tea ceremony.
Uh-huh.
They're highly decorative. Usually, like the outside is mochi and the inside is anko bean paste.
Oh, okay.
And it's kind of like a feast for the eyes as well as your stomach. Actually, you're supposed to like. Technically, you're supposed to sense it with all 5 senses.
All right.
Yeah.
Just give me the treat.
Yeah, right. but also, so that's like the fancy kind of wagashi. That's something called jo namagashi is the fancy kind that you have in tea ceremonies.
And then there's like cheese doodles or something.
Well, like things that we know that were around for a long time, like dango, daifuku. They're also wagashi.
Okay.
They're just not fancy.
So it's like tea cakes. Like the British have tea, and you can have a cake or a tart or just some sort of thing with the tea.
It is a tea cake sort of thing, yes.
Interesting.
Yes. And it actually has its roots in like dim sum.
Yeah, sure.
So, yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. From Wikipedia, quote, wagashi are classified according to the production method and moisture content. Moisture content is very important since it affects shelf life. Namagashi, or wet confectionery, contains 30% or more moisture.
Give me that wet confectionery.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Han namagashi, or half-wet confectionery, contains 10 to 30% moisture. And higashi, or dry confectionery, contains 10% or less moisture. So if you... And an example of the 10% or less would be, God, what are they called? I can't remember what they're called right now. You know, those sugar crystals that...
It's rock candy?
They're like rock candy. But the soot sprites in Spirited Away eat them.
Okay.
They're like Compito or something like that. They came to be through the Portuguese... merchants.
Well, they have those like at a coffee shop sometimes.
Sometimes.
They've got the wooden stick, and it's got, I guess it's just a more complicated, it's sugaring your coffee with extra steps. You know, you can stir, it's a stir stick, but it's got like crystallized sugar on it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is like that. But yeah.
Just like, no, don't do you know.
Rock candy.
It's more flavor.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Jo namagashi, the fancy wagashi used in tea ceremonies, originally were only available to aristocrats and the wealthy.
Okay.
So it's another sort of thing that began to become more readily available to everyday folks. Jo namagashi are traditional Japanese sweets that are most frequently associated with wagashi. They are made of rice flour and a sweet bean paste filling. They are elegantly shaped by hand to reflect the season. Some wagashi are eaten all year round, while others are only available in certain regions or seasonally.
Okay.
From Just One Cookbook, quote, the deep appreciation of the seasons is reflected by the aesthetic of wagashi. For example, you may see plum blossoms and cherry blossom motifs in the spring, young green bamboo leaves and fireworks in the summer, autumn foliage, chestnuts, and the harvest moon in the fall, and snow in the winter.
Okay.
They can be used as a gift during festivals, and can also be a daily treat for visitors, like that you're entertaining in your home.
Sure.
Different places have wagashi that are unique in flavor as their local specialty. Japanese people tend to take wagashi back home after business trips or vacation as omiyage, which we've talked about before.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's very popular. Omiyage is wagashi. Jo namagashi are served during Japanese tea ceremony. You always eat the wagashi first and then drink the green tea. The sweetness of the wagashi is said to balance the bitterness of the matcha.
Huh.
And matcha that is fresh matcha that is served during the tea ceremony is more bitter than like you would get in a tea bag, I would say.
Huh.
So
does it mellow over time, like when it sort of matures, or they just put more sugar and stuff in the tea?
They don't put any sugar in the tea. That's why you have the sugar beforehand.
Sure.
The original inspiration for the shape of wagashi was Chinese confections and dim sum, but over time, these traditional sweets developed into a distinctive, beloved part of the Japanese culture, becoming more vivid. Timing is really important when making wagashi. Wagashi chefs have about 2 minutes to sculpt the sweet. If they do it faster than that, it looks sloppy. If they do it slower, the sweets will absorb body heat and won't be as visually appealing. So you gotta work fast.
It's like Lucy in the chocolate factory.
Yeah, exactly. Traditionally, people make wagashi using plant-based ingredients, agar for texture instead of gelatin, and no dairy. Chicken eggs are sometimes used, but that is the only non-vegan friendly ingredient in wagashi for the most part.
Huh.
This makes wagashi much healthier compared to Western sweets, which usually contain higher amounts of sugar.
Yeah.
To make wagashi, the process typically involves steaming or short-grain glutinous rice, pounding it into a paste, and molding it into intricate shapes. Wagashi masters also observe trends and integrate non-Japanese ingredients like ice cream, chocolate, and custard to create new sweets.
Huh. I'm a third Dan wagashi master.
That's right. During the Edo period, 1603 to 1868, the quality of wagashi noticeably grew as the ingredients utilized became more available and production techniques improved. Although some wagashi look very similar, there are actually a lot of variety. For example, although among wagashi known as manju, there are some that are made by cooking with steam, and others are baked in an oven.
Okay.
So it's still manju, but different cooking methods. Manju refers to the outer layer that is enclosed around bean paste. The bean paste it surrounds comes in many types, including koishian, smooth, suban, chunky, and subushian, crushed, made with azuki beans. Paste made with sweet chestnuts, ugushuan made with green peas, paste made by adding miso, and paste made by mixing sesame, yuzu, or green tea.
Okay.
So there's a lot of different options. The outer layer also comes in various types. They include an outer layer made with rice flour, an outer layer made with wheat flour, and an outer layer made with mixing brown sugar or miso. Some types are even made with sake. So
it's a lot of recipe cards.
Yeah, and that's just for manju.
Because the whole thing about this seems to be, sure, like you like jammy Dodgers, or there's something that you like, but also like there's so many things that we can do, and maybe I'm gonna do this, or the chestnuts are in season. You know, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah, exactly.
And everything is just some unique, individual kind of treat that has its own way to kind of make it.
Yeah, for sure.
You must have like a Rolodex full of recipe cards for everything.
I think you do.
Yeah.
And you do see a wide variety with the seasons and the flavors and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
In the Edo period, the culture of dagashi, cheap sweets, blossomed among the public. It is said to have been a part of wagashi culture. Candy in Edo period is different from modern-day candy and is said to have been made primarily from grain-derived sweeteners rather than sugar, which was rare at the time.
Huh. Yeah, I guess I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Any carbohydrate that kind of breaks down is sugar.
That's true.
But I guess they don't have sugar beets, that's for sure.
The Portuguese kind of helped get suger more into Japan.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then eventually Japan
invented dentists.
Well, yes, they did. But they eventually started growing sugar cane.
Sure, yeah.
So
that would work.
Yeah. While there were some shops like Curia that sold candy on the main street, there were also many small candy shops. According to Morisado Manko, or Morisado's Sketches, which was a book written by Kitagawa Morisada that explores the differences between Osaka and Edo, written during the Edo period, wayside vendors called Kasa no Shita Shonen would be found in the three cities, Kyoto, Osaka, and Edo. They set up large umbrellas in thoroughfares and sold candy and other goods. It is said that the reason for holding an umbrella was to keep candy from getting wet in sudden rain or melting in the sun.
Yeah.
All of the candy shops in Edo showed swirling patterns that probably represented candy. Some vendors today still use this pattern to advertise that they sell candy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just thinking about this book, the differences between Kyoto and Edo.
Yeah.
You're like, in Edo they're like this. And Kyoto they're like this. That's so different.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
It's a 17th century Jeff Foxworthy in Japan bit. I've been working on it for a while.
Have you?
No.
So that's what I had to talk about wagashi.
A lot of sweets. You know, for a episode that's about, or for a movie that's about sweets and candy and stuff like that, it's really like more of set dressing. It isn't like they bake cookies at the beginning, but it isn't like we see a bunch of different, confectionaries and little sweets and things like that.
That's true.
It's all kind of cookie based.
It is. You're right. And even the gingerbread house is cookie based.
Right. And even the little stupid dancing cookies are.
Yeah, exactly.
What's this? Oh, there's only sewing supplies in this tin? Well, I can't do my magic on that.
This sewing kit has cookies in it. Have you seen that?
Needles dancing around.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? So much food.
So her cookies, and I can see Mako's smart. She probably was like, we'll just give them some basic butter. They'll just get to do, they're a little sugar cookies or something like that.
Yeah, probably.
No problem. And then over here we'll do the
more complicated stuff.
The chocolate chips and the snickerdoodles.
Yeah.
But no oatmeal raisins. Not in this house.
All right. You have a thing for your anti-oatmeal raisin.
I'm not here to eat breakfast. I'm here to eat a cookie. Unless you can eat an oatmeal raisin cookie for breakfast.
Ooh, that'd be good.
Okay. But they're eating the cookies.
Yes.
Special cookies.
Yeah. There's so much food even mentioned in the beginning song with the kids.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, yeah, there's that. And then Minako eats chocolate chips while they're baking. And the way that they scolded her because they don't have enough to make chocolate chip cookies anymore, it makes it sound like she has been snacking on these for a while.
There's 12 on that plate.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe a couple seconds before there were 200 on that plate.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Just eating them all.
And Mars is like, oh, well, now we can't make chocolate chip cookies.
All right, we're just going to make plain cookies.
They'll just be sugary.
Yeah.
And no chocolate chips. And Ami is making the sugar cookies by taking the glass and dipping it in sugar. So yeah,
it's a good move.
It's a good move. And she talks about her mom making her cookies and how that made her feel a lot better when she was a kid.
Yeah. We learned that Mako's her baking proclivities come from her mother.
Yes. And the 3 o'clock fairy.
Okay. Or maybe we're just trying to... Is that a thing?
I've never heard of that before in my life.
We're just trying to connect it to what's going on.
Yeah.
Which we didn't know.
No.
That's why, that's what I said before. They're kitchen sinking this thing.
They are.
At this point in the show, the only new things we're going to learn is that Mina's really into laser tag because they're going to fight a laser guy or something like that, right? Or I guess Mako can ice skate because they're going to fight, ice skaters or something.
Yes.
And they haven't done any of that for a while because
they
the
haven't.
girls have just been studying. No, it's gone. It's done. But it's just interesting that they are on the way out the door, they're like, yeah, Mako used to break things with her mother, and so that's why she bakes things. It's that's a core memory.
That is a core memory. They just
drop on us.
Yeah.
On this DVD.
I know. No, you're absolutely right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and then Chibiusa and Usagi have their competition going on between whose cookies are better. And I love that Usagi's cookies look pretty good, but they taste awful. And then Chibi's look pretty bad, but they taste pretty good.
Is it like a ladybird situation or something?
What do you mean?
But look, I know that I understand. I guess I don't know that, as a woman, your relationship with your mother is important, and it can be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's what the movie Lady Bird is basically about, right?
Yeah.
So I just see Chibi jumping out of a star car or something like that and breaking her arm just to win an argument. You have to see Lady Bird. See Lady Bird, that joke works. But yeah, everything's a competition between them. I'm not sure it's super healthy. I don't know if they've invented therapy in this universe, but maybe they should check that out.
Yeah, I think maybe they should.
Yeah. So
the relationship is complicated.
How long have you believed that you're from the future and she's your mother?
Yeah, right.
Maybe it wouldn't help.
It might not help. It might
What if
just
Luna
make it
P
worse.
has therapeutic programming?
Well, wouldn't that be great? And we could bring Luna P back.
Luna P just like glasses come down over its eyes, and a little pad comes out with a pen floating in the air. It's like, tell me about your mother. Oh, she's right there. Right. Okay.
I like the idea of that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, and then they're talking about having Mamo taste their cookies and like who will win that. And then Chibi meets gosh, how do you say his name again?
Pururu.
Yeah.
Pururu.
Pururu. Yeah, Pururu, right. And he's outside the sweet shop, and then he makes the cookies dance.
Right. Yes.
And Chibi talks about stealing Usagi's snacks and then how so she steals some of her snacks.
Yeah. I was thinking it's only Pururu. Say it over again. Because the word it's supposed to be is like a tongue twister nightmare for Japanese people because it's pearl, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's PRLE.
Yes.
It's like good luck.
Yeah, really.
Knock this one out, Takezo. See how you do. So it becomes Pururu. But, you know, it's fun.
Yeah.
If there was a clown-based fairy and his name is Pururu, I could see that.
I could see that, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy's a little serious to be Pururu, but we're just going to keep on going with it.
They bring the clown stuff back, too.
They do bring the clown stuff back.
It's weird.
Dreams and clowns.
Yeah.
And dark-haired
candy-colored
bad guys.
Clown they call the Sandman.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chibiusa gives her cookies to Pururu, and the children want to go to Candyland, a dreamland filled with candy and sweets. And when they get there, it's the Marzipan Castle.
Right.
So,
which looks like the box of Candyland. The game.
Yeah, it does.
Good branding.
And then Sailor Moon takes out one of Chibiusa's cookies and says to Pururu that these are supposed to be special cookies, and one bite increases your power and courage 100-fold. So, yeah. Lots of food.
Well, it's a food-based story.
It is a food-based story.
There's no way around it.
That's true.
These kids they want their candy.
Villain Gauge, where we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. So I thought we would rate the Bonbon Babies.
Bonbon Babies.
Pupuran and Badine. How do you say her name?
I said
Badiane.
Badiane. But that's probably not right. But not Banana and Orangeant. The other two flunkies.
Do we vote on them too?
They are bad guys who are murdered by the Sailor Senshi.
I guess so. Okay, well, let's start with the Bonbon Babies.
Bonbon Babies. There are Yoma for this this situation.
Bonbon is a type of candy.
Yeah.
And they are babies.
Yeah.
That is their name.
Easy. Done.
Design. They are a bad guy who initially looks like a hard candy wrapper, but they morph into a humanoid form with a head, arms, and legs, and very spherical body.
I feel like we've been running into this a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
It does seem
there
kind
were
of familiar.
several candy-based lemur.
Yeah, like the bunny gal.
What does that even have to do with circuses? I guess you get popcorn or candy or something, Cracker Jacks or something like that.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, kind of seems like it was anticipating this in a way.
Maybe they were like, haha, we will.
Yeah, I used to work for Queen Badiani. That bitch is crazy. Okay? Much better working for this lady in the mirror.
Oh my God.
She's in a mirror. She can't get to you.
That's true. So they are very bouncy. If you throw them in one direction, they will come back and run into you, forcing you to fall over.
Yeah.
They revert back to candy once they have been hit with an attack. Later, they morph and learn to turn themselves back into Bonbon Babies after they have been hit with an attack.
Yeah.
They're pretty effective at their job, so I'm going to give them 4 out of 5 Dark Roses.
Yeah. 4 doesn't sound terrible, but I think I'm probably going to go with 3. Simply because they are kind of bad guy wallpaper. But I do like the idea of they're like immortal, essentially.
Yeah.
Like we never really see any die. They just become candy and then they're sort of resummoned.
Yeah.
And they only are defeated because their masters are defeated. So I don't know if they can be stopped. Do you know what I mean?
That's true.
And I like the aspect that they're turning your attacks like against you.
Mm-hmm.
So this reminds me of like an X-Men villain, Sebastian Shaw, right? His mutant power is to absorb and redirect kinetic energy.
Okay.
So if Colossus is like, das vidanya, tovarish, and punches him, he's just like, interesting. And then just punches Colossus back, and he goes like, through 3 buildings.
Oh my gosh.
So you're not going to win that way.
No.
And that's kind of what they've got here. They're doing all their kicks and they're flipping and they're elbowing, and they just come right back for more.
Yeah.
So they have got to think of some other way to stop these guys, and they don't actually. They end up just kind of killing the fairies that are controlling them. So
yeah.
I'm almost talking myself into a 4, but I think it's still a 3.
Okay.
They come in different colors.
They do.
They're kind of giggly and goofy.
Yeah.
They're fun.
They're fun.
But we've been through an entire season of stuff like that.
That's true.
All the bouncing ball family and...
Yeah, the ball family.
Yeah.
I like the balloon family.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were great. Okay, so Pururu. It's just like tongue twisters saying all their names.
Pupalin.
Yeah, Pupalin. According to the materials collection, the romanization of Pupalin's name is literally Pupuran, which is the Japanese version of the French word Pupalin. A Pupalin is a type of French pastry that was popular during the 16th and 17th centuries and is made with choux paste and cooked.
Excuse me, what?
Choux paste?
The stuff that you use to fix your shoe?
No, it's a kind of dough,
Okay.
like a choux dough, like choux pastry.
Okay.
They talk about it
Choux
a lot.
Crepe Sunday?
Yeah, right. They talk about it a lot in the Great British Bake Off. They make things out
Okay.
of choux pastry.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
And it's cooked in a mold. During cooking, most of the paste overflows so that all that is left is a crust, which is then filled with mousse or cream. In some very old French tests, the word poupeline occasionally is used to refer to a kid.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Design. He has green and orange hair, orange eyes, and wears earrings that are red studs with blue swirls. He wears a swirly white necklace. He has white flowy pants and a shirt. His shirt is tightened at the waist, and the ends of the shirt are flowing out. He's wearing a brown and blue vest and has gray ties and red beads on it.
Right.
He also has pointy ears.
Yeah.
He's a difficult foe for the Senshi until he gets turned into a bird. Like
Yeah. Well.
like he's difficult, and then you hit his flute, and then he's gone. He's just a bird.
Yeah. Again, bringing back elements from Sailor Moon SuperS.
Yeah.
The bad guys are animals in disguise.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know where they came from, if they are from a fairy world like Elysian.
Yeah, right.
Or if they are uplifted animals like the Amazon Trio were. And we're never going to know.
No.
We're just never going to know.
No, we're not.
So
he's effective until he isn't. So I'm going to give him 3 out of 5 dark stars.
4 for the bonbons.
Yeah.
3 for him.
Yeah.
I'm going to give him a 4.
Okay.
I think he's strong. And I like that he gets in over his head.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we get bad guys who are the lieutenants to the big bad. And, your Esmeraldas, people who have their own plans and are maybe serving, at the pleasure of the master, but maybe have their own like plans or ideas or things that they want to do. And I think that whereas Pearl or Pururu
Yeah.
is, he's the guy who the wool is lifted from his eyes, and he's like, oh, we can't do this.
Yeah.
Whereas Pupalin
Yes.
he's just too far into it. He can't turn around at this point.
Yeah.
He's over halfway in.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that he necessarily thinks about the morality of what they're doing. And maybe he even he's a zealot. He believes in making the world for the children. Like he, mentions that specifically.
Yeah, he does.
And so I like the idea of that true believer enemy who isn't a bad guy necessarily, like an evil bad guy, but is doing the bad things, because he feels like it's the right thing to do. And then I also like the fact that he is, kind of caught off guard by 9 cheerleaders showing up to kick the crap out of him. And I like when he's like with his other flunkies and he's like, they got some weird powers, so just like watch yourself. I don't know what's going on here. I think that he shows like more kind of layers and depth than a lot of one-off villains do.
That's true.
And that flute thing works a treat. Like you can summon bonbons and he shoots energy at Tuxedo Mask. He basically stands off against Tuxedo Mask and walks away from it. And so he's pretty powerful. It's got a cool design. The green hair's cool. So yeah, I'm going to give him a 4.
Okay.
I'm bullish on Poopelin.
Okay, great. What were the other 2 flunkies?
Banana and Orangeat.
And Orangeat.
Which is banana.
And orange.
Well, Orangeat is candied orange peel.
Oh, okay. All right. We don't see a whole lot from them. They're very colorful.
You're not ready for this.
I'm not ready for this.
Banana is the yellow one. He's makes sense, right?
Yes.
He's got like a yellow conical kind of hat.
Sure.
And the other one, of course, is Orangeat. He's got the spiky, green Dragon Ball hair or whatever.
Sure.
And a lot of orange on his costume. He's also got kind of like, his hair is it's like leaves.
Okay.
Like orange leaves.
Okay,
and
sure.
then nestled in his hair are little orange globes.
It's like oranges.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
And they all become birds.
Rate
them together.
I'm going to give them a 2.
Yeah, I'm going to give them a 2 as well.
they don't stick out enough for me.
No. I do like that one of them's like, are we going to kill Pearl? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, right.
And the other guy's like, hey, just keep shooting.
Right.
That's the order that we got.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, look, we did our job.
We did.
Yeah.
Queen Badiane. So Badiane is French for star anise.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's like, oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, with a star motif with her outfit.
Yeah, the little pointy things all over her outfit.
Yeah.
Also just, anise being a component of a spice or a flavonoid, but a component of licorice.
Yep.
And she's
Candy.
all black,
Yes.
black hair, black dress and everything. And
She's also red.
Well, she's red as well.
Red licorice.
Because she's a vampire.
Yeah. Of course, red licorice doesn't taste like anise, so.
No.
Which is why I like it more. I don't like star anise.
Yeah. You're a Twizzlers girl.
I'm a Twizzlers girl through and through. So her design, she has skin as white as snow, black wavy hair, pointed teeth. She has a long flowing black skirt on top of which is a pointy bright red skirt, on top of which is a cream colored skirt with black points.
So many skirts. Her top has a red brooch with 8 points on it. That's the star. Yeah.
And then a bow that is cream and dark red around the edges.
She's got a star on her forehead too.
She does have a star on her forehead, yeah. Her sleeves are like the bow, except they are black where the dark red is, and there is a bright red part underneath that.
Yeah.
She has 2 long red ribbons that start at her top and go all the way down her skirt. She has bright red pointy wrist cuffs. She has a headdress that is made up of bright red fabric and a cream colored crown with 2 wings coming out of either side of the crown. And she has like bat wings.
Right. It's a hennin.
It's a hennin?
Yeah.
What's that mean?
By hennin. It's a thing, on top of like a princess's headdress, It's just the fabric.
Oh, the fabric.
That comes down.
Yeah. Yeah. She's got red fabric coming down and like it's cream on the sides. So yeah. We talked about this before. She's got vampire vibes. She's got pointy teeth.
She does. Which again, I can't remember, but I think if you looked in the mouth of Nehelania, you might find some pointy teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't bear to be in the sun. right? It's like,
Yeah.
it's just like a palette swap. Nihilania. Nihilania ends her time in a black hole, and Badiani is looking to utilize a black hole to conquest. So it's just like, all right.
I know.
Crystal, we're rebooting this thing
right now
while it's going on.
That's right. So she is a terrifying foe. She's somehow really big, like Super Queen Barrel. She is gripping Chibiusa in her hand. She wants the dreaming of sweets energy to change her black dream hole, to charge her black dream hole, excuse me. She has a force field around her, which Sailor Moon and Pururu barely break into. She almost kills Chibiusa. She is powerful, and I like her overall design. That being said, we have seen an oversized baddie queen before. Also, she...
A baddie.
Yeah, a baddie. She isn't a baddie who I really think about. Like, if you had asked me before rewatching this what her name was or what she looks like, I couldn't describe it to you, and I couldn't tell you what her name is.
Yeah.
So, that being said, I'm going to give her 3 out of 5 dark stars.
I don't remember this person at all. 3 out of 5 stars. I'm going to give her a 4. Based mainly on the design. I think it's such a solid design, and everybody, even the bad guys in this, are all these complementary colors. They're always green or, pink or something like that.
Yeah.
And she just walks out of, a
Topic.
D&D supplement or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I really like that stands out for me. Also, she's very powerful. Again, I don't understand if she's an energy being or if she's somewhere else and this is just a hologram of her.
Right.
I don't know what's going on, but it works regardless. And she can just like completely soak every attack that's thrown at her. Again, maybe because she's not really there.
Maybe.
Or doesn't exist in this universe or something. But I don't know that if she didn't have to protect this black hole to get this going, this is part of her plan, I don't know that they would have won. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Sailor Moon kind of goes after Chibi, and in going after Chibi ends up inside the black hole, and then in the process of rescuing Chibi, destroys the black hole, which leads to the end of Badiani. But just trying to take her on 1-to-1, she's very powerful. Like, I don't know if they had much of a chance against her. And so I really like all that. And also, I'm still stuck on this, like, Badiani. I know it means star anise, but like, it just reminds me of like Baba Yaga.
Yeah.
And the Baba Yaga is a witch. Now, obviously, we're thinking about like the witch that, has the Hansel and Gretel witch that gets them into the gingerbread house. But just having like the idea of a witch, she doesn't have like a mortar and pestle, but she's got a platform that she stands on, and she's got a staff.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I don't know if she's like counting spoons or whatever, but I kind of like that connection, whether or not I'm just imagining that. But yeah, I think that she's pretty strong. If he talks like this, my black hole sugar energy. So yeah, I like her. 4 out of 5.
All right.
Dark stars.
Black
holes.
Black holes. Oh, there you go. I like that better. I have some trivia for the movie. The movie featured the only appearance of Sailor Pluto and Sailor Moon Supers, and the second appearances of Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune.
Yeah.
This film seems to exist outside of the continuity of the rest of the anime. While it seems to be set after the Sailor Moon Supers season, there are some continuity errors that I can't discuss at this time.
Interesting.
The movie features the only on-screen appearance of Ami's mother in the anime at all, and all we see is her back.
Yeah.
The story refers to some popular German fairy tales, especially the Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Yeah.
We have a Pied Piper in this movie. Also, there are some timber-framed houses that are seen in the opening scene. These are typical of Central Europe, especially Germany, but very uncommonly in Japan. Yeah, obviously they were in Japan at the beginning.
Yeah, we're in Dusseldorf or
yeah,
something
right.
like that. Yeah.
Later on, the gingerbread house is part of the popular German fairy tale Hansel and Gretel, of course.
Right.
So,
which, well, there's one major connection between Germany and Japan I can think of, but I don't know how much German culture gets to Japan other than their sausages. But I could see the Japanese being like, "Have you seen these Grimm's fairy tales?
Yeah, I
These
can see
are awesome.
them being into that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
a lot of that's happening here.
Yeah. So now we're up to our rating. I love the whistling version of Tuxedo Mask's theme song
Yeah.
and the orchestral version as well. I like that Pururu challenges what his brother is doing and also what Queen Badiane is doing. I love that Usagi discovers that she is in a dream by her asking Mamo again who he cares about more, her or Chibiusa.
Yeah.
I also love that she tells him that he's handsome even in her dreams.
Yeah.
I like how Sailor Moon recalls what everyone said while they were baking, and gives her extra strength to go after Queen Badiane. I like how Sailor Moon and Chibiusa attack the queen together and they're able to break free of the black hole. So I kind of want to look back on this as like comparison to the other two movies as well.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to give this movie 3 out of 5 roses.
Okay. I love all this stuff. 3 out of 5. I think I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5.
Okay.
Did I say too much bad stuff to give it a 4 out of 5?
I don't think so.
Something really got me, which was, and maybe it suffers coming right after the incredibly animated Ami short.
Yeah.
There is some great animation in this and
Yes.
some great character design. And then there's some parts where there's like some really ropey kind of animation.
I didn't notice that.
Not to the point where they're almost stick figures, when you kind of get late into a season and all the animators, have carpal tunnel.
Yeah.
But there's some parts where, and I think that it's like they're trying to do stuff. Like there's, the characters are agitated by something, and so they're kind of like jiggling, like they're doing some weird stuff with the animation to maybe get like some emotional states across or something, and it just looks weird and it doesn't work.
Okay.
But I don't think that it's rushed or the animation quality is poor. I just don't think that it compares super favorably to Ami's First Love. That being said, there are some really cool set pieces in this. Did you think that who had sailors crash a clown ship into a marzipan city on their bingo card?
I didn't.
You win.
Yeah.
And so those things are all really neat. Like Marzipan City, it's kind of a dumb idea. It's like it's Candy Palace that's a spaceship or something like that.
Yeah.
But it's like cloaked and it like decloaks.
Yes.
And it's like there's a really neat effect that they do when that happens. And I know a lot about decloaking as a Star Trek fan. I thought that was really great. They're clinging on to a clown head at the end.
That's true.
It's like, give it, Chibi, I'm back. It's like, why not? That's pretty great. I really like the dream logic of eating the cookie, or like, thinking your happy thoughts about Chibiusa,
Yes.
and flying on this thing. That was really great. And then also they keep doing it. Every single one of these, we went through so in a season here are 30 something episodes where we build up to a point where we've got to resolve all the conflict, not the conflict, just the conflict with the bad guy, but the interpersonal conflicts with the characters. And they have to realize, that I really do care about Chibiusa, even though we fight. And then in a movie, in an hour, you got to do that all over again.
Yeah, right.
And they generally keep pulling it off.
Yeah, that's
Wasn't
true.
in love with the Ice Queen movie. I've made that clear.
Yeah.
But they pull it off again in this one.
Yeah, they do.
Especially because, and we kind of had this with the mirror scene in the series, but we get what I call a Black Mercy moment.
What is that?
Alan Moore,
Yeah.
comic scribe, although
Yes.
don't call him that.
Probably wouldn't like it.
I'm embarrassed by my work in the medium.
Oh my God.
He wrote a Superman story called For the Man Who Has Everything.
Yeah.
That has been adapted in a couple times, I think, into cartoons and stuff like that. And in it, Batman and Wonder Woman come to the Fortress of Solitude to celebrate Superman's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's probably got a birthday, right?
Oh, sure.
Maybe the day that he
Probably the
crashed
day
on
he
Earth,
landed
yeah.
on Earth. Yeah.
And they find him catatonic with this weird tentacle plant on him.
Yeah.
And they can't get through to him. And so that's bad. Also, they find out that Mongol, who is this like super strong, Superman level villain, is here. He has done this to Superman. So half the issue is Batman and actually Robin and Wonder Woman fighting Mongol and losing badly, while the other half of the story is Superman is trapped in this dream world. It's his perfect world.
Right.
He lives on Krypton. It never exploded.
Right.
His father was wrong, but he gets to live with his father and his family. He's married to a woman who's kind of weirdly a combination between Lana Lang and Lois Lane.
Yeah.
And he has a son called Van. And he is a farmer. It's like he's living this life. He loves it, but something's wrong. The planet is shaking and shifting again. And as he lives this blissful, idyllic life, he begins to realize that it's not real.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know this for a fact, but outside, his friends are dying. Mongol is killing Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
He's the only person that can help them. And so he realizes he's in a dream, and the only way out of this dream is to reject it. So he has to take his son aside and say, you're everything that I ever would have wanted from a son. You're perfect, and I love you so much, but I don't think you're real. And I'm so sorry that I have to go and I have to leave you. And that helps him break out of it. He starts fighting Mongol, beats him up, and they win. But not before the Black Mercy gets thrown on Batman. And in Batman's dream, he's in the alleyway with his parents.
Of course he is.
He's 8 years old.
Yes.
And Joe Chill pulls out the gun. But instead of firing it, Thomas Wayne grabs him and just starts beating the living hell. And it just goes on for like 20 minutes.
Oh my God.
And young Bruce is like, yeah.
Oh my God.
So anyway,
he's never Batman.
Everybody's dreams are different.
Yeah.
And we've got that here. Like we put Usagi in this dream world. It's everything that she wanted. Her man is here. Chibi's, she's out. Yeah. 89.5 is on the stereo. She's got some bad cookies to eat. Nothing could be better. And yet we call back to that thing that she said idly, selfishly before.
Yes.
Who's better, me or Chibiusa? But in her heart, she knows the answer. Yeah. The answer is there is no answer. We're both important.
Exactly.
And the fact that this memorial can't say that, she's like, that's when we get that moment where that, and how do you do this with paint and ink and animation?
I know.
But there's that look on her face like, all right, I know what's going on here. I know what's going on. And she gets out of there. It's like that moment alone is like worth the price of admission.
No, you're right. That is a really powerful moment. And I do really like that a lot.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's just that that's getting the 4, but I'm gonna give it a 4.
You almost talked me into giving it a 4.
Too late.
I know. It's always too late.
It's a nice antidote to the series.
It doesn't
make up for it.
No.
But in the same way that Crystal is take, the manga, but also the show that we know and kind of boil down and distill it and just try to give people, something quick to get out of here. It's like, let's put Sailor Supers in a wine press.
Yeah.
And maybe you get this.
Yeah.
The sweetest vintage.
I told you it doesn't really have a whole lot to do with the actual season besides its dreams and black holes and clowns.
Black holes.
Yeah.
Vampy villain.
Yeah. So it has like a lot of key elements
that are birds or animals.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're making my point.
All right. My English title is Sweet Nightmare Dream Freedom.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's another one that's just like 4 characters. Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Read that right off. Mine is really trying to push that PG-13 and also bring in a little bit of the black hole action as well. So my title is Naked Singularity.
Next episode, we are talking about episode number 167, Akumu Hana no Chirasu Toki, Yami no Jo Fukatsu. In Japanese, the English translation, The Flower of Nightmares Scatters, the Queen of Darkness Returns. And that's the English translation. And I should say, since this is Viz now, and we didn't have a Cloverway dub of this, there is no English titles anymore.
Right.
So we just have 2.
It's a new world.
Yep.
So
what do you think about that?
Doing that. It's gone. It's done. I'm looking forward to a new season of Sailor Moon.
Good.
Bittersweetly.
Okay.
There's a ways to go, but it's our last season.
It is our last season.
And so we're going to try to make the most of it as we go forward. One of the ways we want to make the most of what we do here is by hooking up with the listeners and watching this movie, which thank God I enjoyed, because I'm going to watch it again.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch it with the listeners that want to join us. We've decided it's going to be, this won't make any sense if you're listening in 2050. Sorry you missed it.
Yeah.
Or get in your time machine and jump back and join us. I'll see you in a couple days. But this Sunday, 7 p.m. Central.
Yes.
The 25th of February at 7 p.m. Central Time, we will be watching Supermoon, Sailor Guy, Pururu, Poopalon, and Pazuzu. We have a watch party situation set up. We will have a link on Twitter to get there. We're at noob_sailor on Twitter. And if you're a Discord user, I'll post the link there as well. And this is on YouTube, so no problem. It's easy.
Yeah.
We have a room set up, and then you can just join the room, and we'll fire up the movie and hopefully have a good time.
Have some popcorn.
Well, I'm not going to provide popcorn.
Well, not to everybody.
Or wagashi. But,
no wagashi.
That's up to people. But yeah, hope to see you there. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. I wanted to mention too, in a celebration of being done with SuperS, we are going to be taking a 2-week break, and we will be back on March 15th with
Ides
Stars
of March.
That's right. So good time. Come back strong for Stars.
Caesar didn't.
No, but we're going to have a better time than Caesar.
It was looking good there for a while. But that didn't work out so much.
No.
So well. Yeah.
No.
Astronomical things happening, powers, principalities.
Yes.
The movements of the currents of history, and all of that accompanied by the beginning of Sailor Moon Stars.
You got it.
This is your chance, audience. If this sucks, this is when you can tell me. You guys really let me down for SuperS. But if it's bad, tell me right now. So I can prepare.
It's way better than SuperS. I've been watching ahead.
That's good enough for me.
So, yeah.
All right.
Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you in 2 weeks with another episode of Sailor Noob.
It's done. It's gone.